I know. I think I prefer my shit beard.
So sorry,
Oh,
how was your birthday?
I slept in and mostly forgot that it was my birthday. So, you know,
Aw.
you know how it is. It's just like it's one of those days, one of those weeks. I guess it's just like, Simon, it's your birthday today. Oh, it is. Oh yeah, I guess it is my birthday today. And it's just like, oh no, that's not. I was like, because the most people don't buy me presents because everyone knows that it's like, do you want anything? I mean, I could just buy it myself if I really needed to. I mean, like, I haven't spent my birthday buying anything really ridiculously stupid yet. So we'll see how it goes for the rest of the evening or the rest of the week because I might see something on the internet and go, that's fucking ridiculous and stupid and expensive. I'm buying it. So it's like we'll see how it goes. You might see something might come out this week and be like, damn, that's stupid. Guess I'll get it. I'll just get it. It's just like just so I could get it. That's only two times I've spent some money on like something extremely expensive and go, yeah, it's fine. I'll let it pass because like the only other time is Christmas. But like it's Christmas. It's fine.
Oh, Simon's bought himself a laundromat.
If I buy a laundromat, but then I just make it into an arcade. That's just a business, So it's like all quits in. It's like there's actually a game on that, fucking on Steam, where a guy has a laundromat but makes an arcade out of it. So it's like that's actually a very good business venture. I could do that. I don't mind doing that. Get all the quarters and all the pound coins in the world. Yes. Oh,
So Patrick, we've actually got a shared memory today of Simon's birthday. Oh, disabled screen sharing, you bastard. I shall send it to the group chat. No, it's not Facebook.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey, he's here
phone,
before the 20-minute mark. What the fuck?
I'm unconscious.
Hey guys, thanks to there's a guy I listen to a lot. Every time he's referring to his wife, most of the time he'll be like, "My wife," and then just carry on as normal.
All right.
But yeah, courtesy of her, I'm awake.
You're gonna do it. You're gonna do it now.
Thanks, baby. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I haven't caught up in the chat properly, but how's it going, Rob, with all the stuff at the new place?
It's going all right, actually. So I'm currently in my new front room.
It's a log cabin.
A bare ceiling because it used to be covered in polystyrene tiles for some reason. The kitchen is in front of me. There's the kitchen through there.
Oh, I was about to say the Coke bottle was your kitchen. What? I was like, okay, that's nice, but it has a very rustic like log cabin feel, which is
heaven is a half pipe, a kitchen is a Coke bottle.
That's what I love about it, to be honest. Because like when me and Rachel booked to see this place, we were like, oh, we're in the area, like we might as well see as much as we can. And neither of us thought it looked any good. But then we got here, and as soon as I walked in, I was like, yeah, man, this is the one. I love how it feels in here, man. It literally just feels like you're sitting in a log cabin.
Nice.
That sounds lovely.
It's
cool, man.
We just got to think about what particular animal head we're gonna like stick on your wall. I don't know. I feel like moose is too traditional, but like if we get something like really like out there, like alligator, I feel like I think Rachel would hate it. I just don't know.
I feel like you should just get a mounted Nintendo Switch cartridge.
And then just look it like you would. Every so often, like recreate the scene from Cabin in the Woods where the woman makes out the wolf.
Don't remind people about that.
Well, I haven't seen it, so it just sounds strange.
Oh, that's
It is.
the
You know
creepiest
what?
part of the film.
When you see it, it is still strange.
Hmm.
There's no context that makes it all right.
Oh man.
The film is good though, still worth watching.
Hmm. I
Rock
just
on.
realized, Ben,
Hmm?
I've never seen you on your phone on Zoom.
Yeah, we can see your
No.
chin.
My computer's having a bit of a update, so I can't go on just yet.
Oh yeah.
I've done it on my phone before in the past when I've been like not at home, but yes.
Right.
Okay. Nice.
Pat, did you see what their anniversary was?
Yeah.
What?
Did you see what the anniversary was?
No. Oh, let me have a look.
I think Pat's clearly not looking at the screen right now.
You alcoholic.
Hey,
Speaking of which,
I'm not on that.
Ah, nice.
Cheers.
But I feel like the sponsor for this particular film and this particular chat should be Dr. Pepper. And I purposely went out just to buy a bottle of Dr. Pepper just to say this joke because of this film.
You're a fucking monster.
Dr.
Make it.
Pepper.
Dr. Pepper's the worst fucking thing.
It's the best soft drink in my opinion.
No.
Really?
You are wrong.
You picked Dr. Pepper over like anything else.
Yeah, it's always been my favorite.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, my
Mhm.
favorite is a question, right? But like, it's not the worst.
Ben,
What's the worst that could happen?
Ben,
Yeah.
you are
Unlike
you are objectively wrong for life.
Right.
I've always loved that, but it's always been my favorites.
Ridiculous.
I will join in and be like even though I rarely drink it, I like Dr. Pepper, and it's like for me it's like second to if I'm gonna have a fizzy drink, like 7-Up and Sprite is right up there. I would never drink. I would really just like Coke or Pepsi personally. But I've always liked Dr. Pepper. I know they taste different, of course.
Well, you're objectively wrong too.
No,
Yeah,
I'm just from here.
he just likes when he likes. I remember when in year 7, Emmanuel used to be like, "Oh, I don't like Coke because it has this like aftertaste and stuff." And I remember you used to say about that. I was like, "Why don't you like it?" It's just because of the sweetness. And it's like, okay, I understand that. I don't like how it makes your teeth feel, and I get that because that's what full fat Coke is like. Even though it's great, for me, it's just like
That's really cool. I haven't changed. It's cool to
No.
hear you try to explain.
yeah, that's what kind of in my mind when the reasoning when I tried to get you to drink some Coke, and you're like, "No, I'm not having it. I don't like it."
I get that song in my head, or the ad in my head. Dr. Pepper, what's the word that can happen?
So Simon, why did you pick this film?
That's
This
well,
is the sponsor.
okay. Well, apart from that free advertisement for just the Coca-Cola company, we just like spent time.
That's like
I
about.
picked this.
Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
I picked this film mainly because it's Goat Round, and like I like this film. I couldn't remember why I like this film. So after rewatching it, I was like, oh yeah, I still quite like this film. But I also remember a lot of people who've watched this film think that it's kind of overrated. So when I say Goat Round for a choice, I feel like other people might go, what a shit choice. And I'm like, oh, is that what makes it a good movie? Because I say it's good, and like most people say it's good, but if like a decent amount of people say it's overrated and shit, it's like, is it still really considered the GOAT? And it's like, it's one of those things where it's the same thing that we all had, is like, what is considered greatest of all time? It's hard to say that, because if everyone has such like opposing opinions about it, and it's like, it's so hard. But I was like, no, stick to my choice. I feel like it's still one of the greatest films that's ever been made, and it's got a lot of like interesting points and like story behind it. But obviously, that's later in the or later talk about it in the call. But we feel like that the story is very interesting and it's like it's very well made. So because of that, it's like I think it deserves a place to say it's like one of the best films. At minimum, you could say it's one of the most quoted films of all the fucking time. Like fucking hell, how many people have referenced this fucking movie and how much it has impacted real life? It's like the highest in like impact. I feel like if impact is not 10 for your scores, I think we're gonna have a talk about it because it's impacted real life so fucking much in this
Let's
film.
have a talk.
Everyone, it's 10 for impact. For everyone, it should be 10 for impact. It's impacted everything.
Well, let me tell you something, sir. That's your opinion.
I mean, my opinion is like a box of chocolates. I don't know what I don't know what I'm gonna give you. I know. I was grasping for straws. I don't know. But in all seriousness, it's one of those films that are like it's quite quotable because it's been quoted so much that it's part of like pop culture and just culture right now. And it's just like it's one of those films that will have a very lasting it still lasts for quite a long time for like the story and like what it's trying to portray and stuff. And I feel like as a film, it's got that like staying power to be a very classical film from like now to I don't know when my nephews and stuff will probably be our age. They'll go, yeah, you remember that classical film Forrest Gump? I'll be like, yeah, I remember watching it. Yeah. So it's like that's one of the reasons I chose it. It's like it's so classical and like so like it's got like that like staying power of like in the film industry. I feel like that's what makes it a GOAT film. That's the best way I could explain, to be honest. Yeah. So how about you guys? Wait, actually, it's mostly Rob first because I think he probably gave it one of the lower scores.
Yeah, it was for me. It was a similar experience as what I had with the Goonies. So I don't know if I've spoken about this before, but when I was a kid and when I was a teenager, I always loved the Goonies. And then I watched it again about maybe 3-4 years ago, and I was like, this is just a really frustrating experience now. Because it's gone from being something that I really loved and thought a lot of as a kid to as an adult watching it, I'm just going, this is just a lot of noise. I can't like cope with like the sensory overload that it's giving me anymore. And it was a similar thing with this because when I was a kid, I really loved Forrest Gump, and then I watched it this time and I was like, I don't understand what the point of it is because he kind of like he's there for the civil rights movement. He's there for the Vietnam War. He's there for Watergate, and he plays like pivotal roles in all of these really big things that took a lot of courage to play a pivotal role in. But he doesn't give a shit about any of them. and if he did give a shit about any of them, because of the influence he's got and the amount of presidents he meets and all of that kind of stuff, he could have affected so much positive change on the world if he just listened to anyone. But he doesn't. And he just like he's lauded as the hero in every situation that he's in, but he just doesn't care enough to do anything about it.
It's not that he doesn't care. It's just because he's stupid. And stupid is as stupid does. He doesn't really understand.
That does account for a lot of things.
And this is the other thing though, right? So like yeah, I get the point is that he's supposed to be like bumbling into these situations and just like finding himself in like sort of like the spotlight without any want to be in the spotlight. I get that that's the point, but it's like if the film was trying to say all it takes to be a successful person in America is not giving a shit about anything, and like if that was like kind of like a critique of society, that would have been really interesting. But I feel like you're supposed to go like, oh, Forrest, he's such a great guy, and I'm just like, this is just really frustrating. This is just like I'm just watching this guy like go from one really fortunate situation to another, and like play all these pivotal roles that other people in real life have played, and it's taken a lot of courage for those people to play those roles in real life. And now you're crediting them to somebody who just doesn't care about any of them. Like,
We gotta get to Jenny. We need some Jenny. We can't be bothered with all that stuff.
and I think like the byproduct of Forrest Gump playing such a pivotal part in all these things as well is he makes everyone else look like an idiot. And so like one of the things that really annoyed me was the scene with the Black Panther. So like this guy, so he's ended up in this sort of scenario where like he's got a really like prominent member of the Black Panthers like pretty much screaming in his face about reasons why he should care about something that he clearly doesn't care about. And all he's doing is watching Jenny, like he's not even looking at this guy, and this guy's just like screaming in his ear, and then he walks off, and the guy just continues like screaming into empty space. And it's like, okay, so now not only is Forrest Gump an idiot, but now this guy looks like an idiot as well, just because Forrest Gump had to like wander off and like leave empty space for him to shout into. And a bit of the speech about the Vietnam War as well. Like he knew that the microphone wasn't on. Like you can tell that the microphone's not on. So then he looks like an idiot as well. And it's just like there's all these like massive moments in history that are now being credited to Forrest Gump when like you're taking it away from people who worked hard and had a lot of courage to be pivotal people in these movements. And now you're making them look like idiots as well. And it's just like
So would you say it's the greatest film of all time?
Oh, do you know what? Actually, the thing that really got me as well. The thing that really got me as well is towards the end when he's moved in with Jenny, and he's like, "Oh, Jenny taught me how to dance," and I'm like, "You bastard! You taught Elvis how to dance. You've taken the credit of decades of musicians to teach Elvis how to dance, and now you're telling me Jenny taught you 30 years after." Like,
well, I mean, he didn't really teach Elvis to dance. He taught Elvis to shake his hips. I think that's a bit different there.
But that comes from years of Elvis observing other musicians. Like that's
I mean, I can't really refute that actually, because like it's still him just like shaking his legs and like Elvis going, "Oh, that's very, oh yeah, that's an interesting move." Oh, actually,
yeah, no, that's the thing for me. I just found it really frustrating because I was like, yeah, like the amount of times that you've met the president, like the current president at the time, like you've met multiple presidents, and all you had to do is at any point give enough of a shit of the things that you were involved in to listen to the people who were saying like, this is why this is a problem and this is why this is a bad thing. You could have used your influence to affect so much positive change in the world, but you like we're supposed to treat you as a hero because you didn't realize that you did something good. Like,
oh yeah, I mean that's kind of the thing with the fucking Watergate scandal, right? That was fucking hilarious because he goes, yeah, I think there's some guys with like some flashlights that you guys need to send over to like the office. Maybe if you guys could just like send someone over, it'd probably be safer for everyone. Yeah,
Yeah, that was out. That's good.
that's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Rob, was it hilarious?
I didn't get on with it. the
I
one
feel
thing,
bitchy for my end.
did you say? Would you say something?
Oh, sorry. I was thinking. Oh, sorry. If my Wi-Fi cuts a bit, I feel like I don't know, it's a bit unstable. But it's
No,
like
you are
I was like
lagging,
this.
yeah.
The best way to describe it is it's the story about him, but it's not really the story about him. It's the story about the people that made America, or like the influences of America, because this is just the story of
But it's Forrest Gump.
America. But it's just, well, no, that's the problem, right? Because
He should be the
his name
fifth
is
founding
Forrest. No, he's Forrest. His founding father is the creator of the KKK. Remember, that's where his name has come from.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
like, oh yeah, I was like, oh yeah, I
Yeah.
forgot about that. Fuck. Oh, that was, that went over my head as well completely. It's like, yeah, but like the whole point is, he is the story of the people, or one of the most influential peoples of America, and that's what his story is. He's next to those influential people, but he can't really do anything because obviously he's not a real person. He's just part of the story of America. And he's just like, oh yeah, just just go for a ride with America, because literally, as people tell him to do things, what is the one thing he always says every time someone says to tell him to do something? He says, "Okay." That's it. That's it. And that's like, you want to go with this wild ride that is the United States? Okay. And it's like, okay, and it's just like, yeah, that's how it is, because that's how you could say it's the story of Forrest Gump. It's just like the story of the United States. And I think that's quite nice. Because Rob, I've actually had your opinion beforehand as well, because I felt that way when I've watched it like a long time, like a while back ago. Then I watched it again and I was like, oh, actually, maybe it's a bit different. You got every time I've watched it and I changed my perspective of it ever so slightly. I go, maybe that's not the point of the story. The point of the story is this. And like, oh, but maybe if we turn it on its head, the point of the story is that. And it's just like, but like the more I watch it, the more I go, it's actually not too bad of a film, because I remember watching it as a kid, as in like fucking when I was like 8 years old, and I watched it on like fucking like Channel 4 or some shit when it was on TV. So it's like I can't remember watching it then. I go, oh, that seems kind of an interesting film. I didn't watch it from the beginning because it's Channel 4. It's like you always catch films at the end of it nearly. So I was like, oh, that's interesting. I kind of like watching this. I was like, even then, I was like interested in this film. So it's like, it's not too bad. But it's like, yeah, it grows on you differently because of perspectives of each character, and like how you look at it as an adult to like a teenager to a child. But I get what you're coming from, because I've had your opinions beforehand, but I've like rewatched it and go, maybe my
that is an interesting way to look
opinions
at it.
Change slightly. But how about everyone else's opinion? Who else has got the opinion on who wants to go next?
We should definitely hear from Emmanuel before he goes.
Yes, because you never know what you're going to get.
We got that in an authentic Alabama accent as well.
It's what was I gonna say? I think also part of it, I had a hard time for quite a bit of it for different reasons. So I wonder what your reasons are going to be. I said, oh, they're quite different from mine. I did at first just it was a hard watch for me for quite a bit of the film until it started getting a bit more kind of silly for me and more or more kind of entertaining or sweet kind of. So much so that Camille was just like at first, it's like I ain't watching this with you. You're too miserable. But eventually she let me very kindly watch it with her. Afterwards, because she actually really wanted to watch it, and she bought it on Apple TV. I'm sure you'd love that.
The best streaming spec.
Which I just wanted to kind of say one part, I guess that not contradict, but different to what you said, Rob. It's not that he necessarily doesn't care. He's trying, but he's doing the best with his own kind of capacity. And without getting into, because it's nothing's strictly stated, of course, but without getting into like which possible theories of like if he was neurodiverse or just had some other thing going on, or was it a mix of many things, which different people theorize on as well. He was trying his best, and it's kind of like how the way I saw it anyway. It's kind of like how he saw a situation, but he could only get certain information from it. It's kind of like how, in a very extreme way, let's say I might be very bad with social cues, or I might miss something really obvious, and multiple people will be the same. So, like, not just me, but someone might miss something really obvious, and but even when it's pointed out to him, he still struggles to kind of realize the thing, and still might not if it's not hammered in. And like he says throughout the film, his mom was very good, and that was a really cool thing about her as well. She was very good at putting things in a way that he could kind of understand it. He couldn't understand or see the world quite the way most people could. And even though he had certain limitations, he still tried his best. He still, like, when things clicked, he would go the whole mile. Um, like when Camilla was saying about, like, when he realized, wait, she's getting hurt. Nah, F this. She uh she did say that reminds me of you. But
It's the Alabama boys.
and then there's the point where he hears about his mom, his mama. And he's just like, wait, mama, and then he just jumps in the water. It's like most people be like, the boat would be faster just to okay, cool, see ya.
Yeah, and he lets the boat just like sail off into the distance. Silly things like that. It's like, no, you wouldn't do that.
Yeah, I think he's on the boat this time, so at least it won't crash.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was so irritating to me. He jumps off the boat and it's going one way and it's just going down the river. And then when it comes back, it's apparently done a fucking loop for no reason. And then it comes back that way. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what happened there?
Like,
So silly, but all you need is just one shot of him just like twisting the steering wheel, and that would just completely fix that scene entirely.
But I don't know. I don't know if it does. Because maybe it just spins around.
It'd be like the Cuckoo's Nest, but with a like a pier in the middle of it. Like, it just reminded me of the Cuckoo's Nest scene, but not as good.
We're just bending reality to make these jokes work.
Oh man, saying that, I heard that
Good night, Rachel.
Night.
Good night.
I didn't even hear it at first. It's like, oh, cool. Yes. I heard that. Oh, sorry. I'm glad that the film was toned down compared to the book. I've heard the book is just even more outlandish and more out there and more kind of just like, how many things was he apparently in terms of influential American history moments? Was this not already a lot? It's like, no, the book has so much more.
Of course.
That's the thing, though. I think what Simon was saying about, like, I suppose, like, Forrest Gump basically being a personification of America. That's quite a cool way to look at it. Because it's kind of, you're basically just being sort of like led through the history of America just by like this sort of like conduit. And that I think would, if I can see it through that lens, then I think it's a better film. But yeah, I was gonna talk about like some of the stuff that you said about sort of him sort of being sort of disabled to some extent as well, because all of that stuff really ruined the ending for me. Because like the whole thing with like him being reunited with Jenny and like him having a son and all of that kind of stuff, because of all that stuff, where, like, to be fair, it doesn't go into it, but you assume that he has some kind of like, like mind of a child kind of thing. Like, because of all that, when he starts sort of caring for his son and all of that stuff, I'm kind of going, I don't think you should be the person who's raising a son alone.
Well, I don't think he is alone. He's in that house with like the doctor, the guy. He's got like in that house that he lives in, because he doesn't need to work or do anything. He's just with the people who cuts that grass. all those people that are living with him are all like doctors and all them like very
Yeah,
like very good like people who take care of him. So it's like even
No, but
he can't really take care of a child. Yeah.
but that's circumstantial, isn't it? Like the thing that sort of pulled me out of it though is like because with Jenny being like, okay, this is your son, and like I'm dying, so you've got to look after him essentially. I'm kind of like I don't know if a mother would trust Forrest with their son, even if it was his son. But then when I started thinking that, I was like, actually, Jenny's really that's quite a problematic character because
Yes.
Yeah,
if she's known him for his whole life and she knows that he has some kind of thing where he has this mind of a child, she should never have been in a situation where she could have had his baby.
Yeah, that's one of the things about the ending. I was kind of that it's kind of a negative for Jenny as a character, like you were saying, because it's kind of like she sleeps with him, she regrets it, and she regrets his marriage proposal, and literally goes away, and that's enough for us to get all depressed and do his little run across the world thing. But it's kind of like, yeah, that's where it should have ended there, because she realized her mistake, and she's like, look, I can't be pregnant with this guy's kid. We can't have a family or anything, any future together, because it just doesn't work. But yeah, she should have let him. She should have introduced him to her son, maybe just because he deserves to know about it. But maybe she shouldn't have been like, okay, I'm dying, you can have him now. That was the mistake that she did.
If
I
he's
don't
Oh
think
well, I mean,
if
I
he's
don't
got
think that
if he's
should have
got
happened that way.
the mind of a child, she definitely shouldn't be having intercourse with him.
No,
it's
that was one thing. Is like maybe they
it's
shouldn't have
bit
gone that far.
it's okay.
I wouldn't say like mind of the child. It's more his perception. But adding to that, I think part of what leads to that moment is all a testament of all her terrible decisions. She's a person who, in her own way, she makes so many really bad decisions and doesn't
I'll be
seem to.
back.
She goes from one terrible decision to another, to another, to another, to multiple times being on the edge of just literally throwing herself off
Oh
of
yeah,
life.
because as I've seen the story as the way I've looked at it as well, she is also the story of America, but not the patriotic side. She
Yeah.
is the
She's the
drugs, alcohol, and all the other the more
Yeah.
darker parts of history of America, which
Yeah.
it's still very parallel with each other. It's absolutely the same sort of story of like the shit that she goes through with the heroin, the drugs, the like weird
Mhm.
hippie phase of the LSD, like all that is absolutely the States, and it's because during but those two stories like connect for 2 points. You know, it's the beginning of Vietnam, the end of Vietnam, the Black Panthers, and all that stuff. Like the story has its like where it's going to, and it rejoins like multiple times.
Yeah.
And it goes.
One sec.
What?
The hell's going on?
You all right?
Is your mom calling?
Nope.
His mom must be calling.
Okay.
Carry on.
Run, Patrick, run!
Okay. But it's like that's the reason why I was saying the story is Jenny is not a good character, or I would say not a good person, but
Yeah,
like I don't
she's a
think
very
that's
interesting
really,
character, but she's not a great person. You're right.
yeah, but I don't
She's flawed.
completely blame her though, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like, oh yeah, she's not a good person, but it's not really, it's not completely her fault, you know.
Yeah, she's a victim of her parentage and the
yeah,
world
I
that
guess
she
that's probably
and the world she inhabits as well. The
yeah,
choices she makes
that's
to go into the life she chooses. So.
So yeah, that's why her parallel to be like the more like darker undertones of the story of America is kind of like what I wanted to say. But like you can't say Forrest is completely childlike though, because as in like the point of like his conversation with her during like New Year's as the reason why he asked her on New Year's to marry her, because you know it's a second chance. it's even he was like, he's not smart, but I know what love is. And it's like, he has like, he's not like completely stupid. He's not like completely stupid, right? But it's kind of like, you're not all there, but he's not like a total idiot.
When you said
like,
that, you lagged out a little bit. So you kind of went, I might be stupid, but I know what love is.
What's love got to do with it?
But
Oh,
no, that's part of why it, like the whole thing gets a bit like kneecapped for me, because it's like she's known him his whole life. So like, you know, you can sort of argue about, and to be fair, it would have been a time where like, you know, neurodivergence wouldn't have been like such a well-known thing. So you can give her like some credit in that respect, because even if he has got like something going on, she's not necessarily going to be like, she's not going to be equipped herself to know sort of like the gravity of it. So you can give her some credit there. But if she's known him her whole life and his whole life effectively, and she knows like what he's able to comprehend and what he's not able to comprehend, then I think sleeping with him is quite a shitty thing to do, because it's like the only thing that she should have expected from that is for him to be totally in love with her after, and for him to interpret it as something that means that like they should be together, even though she had no interest in them being together until she was pregnant with his child, or rather she had raised his child for a few years and then got AIDS.
I feel like she knew that he loved. No, she knew that he loved her like way back, like way like many scenes, like even when they reunited at like the at the Capitol, right? She knew about like him loving her for ages, right? And it's kind of a thing of like, how to explain it? I'm trying to find the right words without making it sound like complete like nonsense. It's kind of like
this woman without being disrespectful.
It's like Forrest goes and saves her, but she doesn't want to be saved. You know what I mean? So it's kind of a situation where she really does do it to herself because of what she goes through and stuff. And like, it doesn't help that she goes through it with all like some of the worst people. But it's the thing of, how to explain it? It's she cares about Forrest, but it's like it's not really that sort of relationship, because I don't know. It's like I don't know how to explain it without being disrespectful, right? It's fucking like
she's a sexy bitch.
No, it's not even just a sexy bitch. She can't be just a bitch. It's because like it's the thing where she was like in college, and she does it, and she takes off her bra, and is she like, you know, she puts
also, sorry,
his hand.
Can I just say, it's a shitty bra. Fucking hell. Looks like
it was like
it looks like a bin bag.
It was early like 60s or 70s,
like
so it's kind of like
era of the bin bag
wires.
They look like
wires with like fabric.
Yeah,
You
awful.
think it's during the Vietnam War as well, so you would have thought it was like
That's no excuse.
But
but that's how it was. That's just a fact.
No, it looks rubbish. I don't know how anyone had sex.
can I just into that? Camillus, speak.
Hi guys.
Hi.
Hey.
I think by the point when Forrest proposes to Jenny and she says of this, I think that she's kind of trying to play it down how he really feels about her, because he's been this constant in her whole life and she uses him a fair amount, and I think she, maybe not necessarily consciously, but she likes that he's a person she can always run to in a crisis. And she definitely abuses that power a little bit, but because he isn't the brightest, it's definitely easy to say you don't know what love is, because then you don't have to face the fact that what you're doing is inherently hurtful.
What the fuck? You guys are together? Oh, Oh, you guys are absolute pieces of shit. Oh, sorry, not you, Camilla. I'm talking about Rob and Alec. You guys just keep doing it, and I was thinking, what the hell are you two doing? Oh my god! So you're at Rob's house.
No.
The fuck are you?
Oh,
is
I've
Rob
just
at your
noticed that
house?
now as well. I'm like, what?
I've been rumbled.
Okay. Yeah. I saw it's because of the what fucking log cabin that you guys kept talking about. I noticed it. I was like, why is Alec in a log cabin? Wait a second. Why is Alec in a log cabin? God damn it, you've made yeah. Oh, my brain hurts slightly now. Oh shit, don't tell me the reason why Emmanuel I like on electricity, he's just gonna pop out as well. No? Okay. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay.
Anyway,
Sorry, Camilla. Didn't mean to interrupt you at all. But
That's-
they did a complete they did a magician's trick on me. I got completely confused.
don't worry, they'll go back jerking each other off after the call.
Yeah, I think that's it. But also, she's a really crappy person. But if you're gonna argue that he has the mind of a child, then you also need to kind of argue that she raped him, and that puts it in a whole nother light when she runs. Because if she really believes he has the mind of a child, then if that was a legal status, then he legally can't consent to the their child. So a different angle is maybe she ran because she was really, really ashamed from that part, not just because she's made another bad decision, but this time it's her one friend and she didn't want to ruin kind of what she had with him. So there's two to it, I think. Anyway, here's the manual back.
We picked a really crucial moment to do that.
Yeah, you just
I completely agree with my wife.
It is dodgy. Like it's
it is, yeah, absolutely.
Definitely
Yeah. The only thing
Yeah,
I was like
Robin's
thinking
sharing
about
the
it.
screen.
The only thing that I was thinking about is because when she's like on the taxi, it's like, oh, what are you? And the taxi driver's like, what are you running from? He's like, I'm not running anywhere. And I'm thinking, but you are though, aren't you? And it's like, oh yeah, she's got like, she's got like that guilty conscience because of all persons like she hurt him, and like hurting him is probably like the worst things that she's probably felt she's ever done. And that's why, like, yeah, that's troublesome there. And did Alec go off because he's gonna just join you in the call, Rob?
I believe that's what's happening.
Okay, cool. So in any case, it's like who else hasn't had? Oh, Pat, what's your opinion for the film?
I sort of just take simplest. It was just nice, sort of Forrest's life sort of go. Even though like a lot of the background noise is very much like which is why a lot of people that I've spoke to about it don't really like it. It's like this is how you be a proper American citizen. Say yes to all this, and you'll live like a full proper life. But no, it was one for me that started off like you with him, and then you get to points where there's like some really funny scenes in it, and then once you get to the end, it's sort of I found quite sad, like when his mum died and when Jenny died, even though it's used him throughout the film, but I don't think um I think she doesn't Forrest the way Forrest sees her, but she loves the close personal relationship they have, but she more. But I thought the end I thought was pretty cool. I think she sort of realized like I've saw this kid and kept it from him, and I know I'm dying, and he will look. This is probably the best of both worlds for both parties. It does, but I don't think it was meant in that way. The film as a whole, I still love it like I did when um I'd see Rob's problems with it, and there's very problems. But I just can't help but smile every time I watch the film.
I think I think an interesting thing about this being picked for Go Round as well, that I was going to say at the start, is that I don't know. I think it's like a really apt thing because it feels like a situation that Forrest Gump would find himself in for a start. But also, it's interesting because in 1994, when it won Best Picture, it beat out Shawshank Redemption and Pulp Fiction. And like it's always like a thing of like, oh, Forrest Gump, like how could it beat these two films? And I like that it's now been picked for Goat Round over Shawshank Redemption as well.
Wait, what? I'm just saying, I never would have done that. I would have picked Shawshank Redemption hands down.
That was always the controversial thing because like, because yeah, ever since like it's always been the thing of like, how did Shawshank Redemption not win Best Picture?
I think Americans.
It doesn't surprise me.
No, and I think what Simon said about it being the story of America, that's probably why the Oscar panel loved it so much.
It's so that's going to go over really well with the Academy.
Yeah, it's such it's a weird one. Like,
oh sorry.
Oh no, you go.
I was like, as soon as like the Vietnam in, that's an automatic plus or a tick in the box for an Academy Award. They love that stuff.
And I guess they were also like not showing it positively. So that also probably went well with a lot of people who were just like, yeah, it shouldn't have happened. I would like obviously when I'm trying to get Camilla to watch the Chicago 7 still. I was just like, yeah, this is the moment before that point. You need to watch the film. I was just like, when I first saw it, I was like, wait, is that Abby Hoffman? It's like, wait, it is. It's like, this is a cool moment. This is before all the mess happens. But
yeah, Camilla, watch Chicago 7.
Now that Alex told me
to.
She said now that you told her she has to, she guessed.
I don't know.
Excellent.
But yeah, it's just I can't put it into words, sorry, but I'll just say this, even though it's not quite worded the best way. It's Assignment won Best Picture for I feel like what is the wrong reasons, kind of, or very subjective reasons, but some strange subjective reasons that to me anyway, like you have to really have so much pride or I don't know, care about the things that are going on in that film to be like, oh yeah, this is so good, this is awesome. But in that particular way, the reasons it won it, not in a just, oh, I like this. This is very sweet. It's like it didn't win it for those reasons completely. It's just like feels kind of weird.
I think that's the thing, like it's kind of it's I don't know, because of that I feel like it really qualifies as like a propaganda film. Whereas like
wait, what?
Well, like Shawshank has got like that huge emotional catharsis where you've been in the prison for like about 2 hours and then he finally gets out and it's clever and it makes sense and he finally gets out and it's like when the rain all hits him and like it's this huge catharsis
and I don't see how that loses out to this guy was here for like all of recent American politics, and like I don't know, I like Forrest Gump, but I still find parts that I don't know that there's still a lot of like kind of elements that I'm not sure how to react to like emotionally. I feel like there's some things like off about it, and I'm confused how it loses out to Shawshank, where like there's just this giant unambiguous like emotional high. Whereas like the best thing I remember like with Forrest Gump, like something that's generally sort of touted is it's really good at those things where like it splices in it splices Tom Hanks in to actual like footage of historical things that happened. And I'm going like the dubbing they're doing on like the mouths is fucking dreadful. I don't if you look at that's not a human mouth on JF Kennedy or John Lennon or Richard Nixon. Like they are it is bad. It's really bad. But like yeah, those are all the bits where you go like, oh, he was there for all significant like bits of the 1900s basically. And it's like I don't. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I feel like the reason it gets an Oscar is because it's kind of a propaganda film more than it's a character film.
It's like I know Avatar isn't the best choice for Best Picture, but in the running was with The Hurt Locker. It was never beating The Hurt Locker because of the subject it is, which is like instead of the Vietnam War, you got like into Iraq, which is something that the Academy over. Even though I remember at the time I was pissed at Avatar was like an advancement of again the word I need to use, like it looks pretty basically, but The Hurt Locker was always going to win because of that American propaganda angle. I just think it was that.
I was just agreeing with you, but sorry.
Propaganda.
I just think it's going to happen. Like if you put it up against, if you put like up against like a World War II film from a European angle, I don't think you're going to get the feel from the Academy. But as long as it's got like the American angle, so if it's from the war on the Japanese front, like which is likely probably going to win Best Picture. I'm just putting it out there, whether you to or not, or if it's the Vietnam or the American War, then it's automatically going to sort of win the. It's a shame because like some films probably should have won Oscars over others, but it's just the world we live in.
Yeah, them being propaganda issues.
Well, I mean, you could tell it was kind of like that when I don't know if this is like the first time they use it, but it's the time when they're in Vietnam, they played the song "Fortunate Sons," and that's just like, oh yeah, I remember this. This is like a cliche now, but I feel like this is the first time that it was done, so it wasn't a cliche where you just hear the dun, dun,
Yeah.
dun, dun, and it's like, oh yeah. It's absolutely this, but you can say it's a propaganda film, but it shows you the cool like fighting side of Vietnam. But then afterwards, it shows you the hey, we shouldn't be in Vietnam side. And if that is the case, then afterwards it's like it shows you propaganda from both sides. So if that is the case, that makes it a double propaganda film, and that makes it even more recommended by the Academy. Also, I feel like the best way to describe it is this: with Shawshank, you had the catharsis of him finally escaping the terrible situation, but for this, it's because two people that were very close to him died, and it was his mother and Jenny, obviously, and like they were portrayed by very great actresses, and like their emotion of them losing them, but him still trying to live on about it. It's quite a good emotional like bait for the academy, I guess, you know what I mean? So it's like, oh shit, I've been through such terrible situation, but I have to live on for the kid. And it's like, oh yeah, that's like academy baiting, I guess, because it's like I never really thought about it before about how it beat. I didn't realize it came out the same year. It's like Shawshank Redemption. I was like, oh, yeah, I feel like I would have picked Shawshank over this, but it's just like, I picked this first, I guess. Oh, so it's you. So I guess we'll have to pick Shawshank Redemption next.
You have all the power.
I do have all the power. But it's not
okay.
I think Pulp Fiction should have won.
Yeah, but Pulp Fiction will never won because of Quentin Tarantino. Like the Academy doesn't like him enough.
He likes feet too much.
I think the thing is that actually, if we're going down that route, hey,
look at Alex's face.
I'm fucking eating.
Gross. Absolutely gross.
While we're on the subject here, I hope you've made Alec work for you as well.
What's that?
Yeah. I hope you've got Alec to roll his sleeves up and help you with the work.
To be fair, that is why he came down.
Okay, fair enough.
It would have been pretty shit if I drove all the way down here just to watch him do it. It's like, nah, you missed a bit.
To be fair, today we got all of this stuff, all of this scene.
Oh, nice.
That's not too bad.
And let me tell you, if you could smell me right now.
Driver nuts.
He gave me a hug earlier, and I thought it was raining, but it was just sweat.
Oh, damn.
Actually, what you said, Simon. I think as well, like the emotional bit at the end. I do feel a bit. I feel like even if you're not necessarily questioning things, you do kind of have the thing of, is Jenny a bitch? I feel like Jenny's a bit of a bitch. Should he be like crying about it? Like, he loved her, but did he get like kind of, I don't know, has he just been kind of led along for years and years and years of his life? Should he be crying over this person? Like, she's the mother of his child, but she didn't tell him any of that until, like, I don't know, years into after this kid was born. Like, there's a lot of circumstances kind of going on where I'm kind of, I feel like even if you're not paying like a lot of, sorry, I shouldn't say paying attention, if you're not questioning things, there's still kind of like a little bit of like kind of emotional confusion. Like, should he be idolized? Why did you do that right fucking now? No. Like, what? So,
to answer your question is this: the answer is this. He doesn't have quite the capacity to think of these things. We, as the audience, know that she's kind of a bit of a bitch, honestly. Like, and she's been like a terrible person to him. He doesn't really think of her like that. He still thinks of her as like that sweet, I guess, like angelic sort of character that first spoke to him on the bus. And that's his first like emotion to her, and that's what he's stuck with like through the whole fucking situation, through just her growing up to when he first met her to when she passed away. It's like always been like that person that he always thought was like magically angelic, I guess. How the fuck does he describe her when he first meets her? I can't remember. Something like.
I think this is the thing. Like, when he's crying over her death, like I feel there's kind of like an emotional sort of dissonance where you kind of go like, am I supposed to be feeling like bad for Forrest in like kind of like a sort of a tragic way, or like I liked Jenny too, or like, you know, and like I feel like it's just not.
I feel like the best way to explain is this: then you feel sad for Forrest because it's Forrest who knows love, but he also understands what with love there is now loss, and to go through loss and grief is quite fucking horrendous, you know, so from any perspective. So it's like to understand that even the simple was it
as I said, the take that Jenny's a bitch, very common. So something obviously like made people feel that way. So I feel like there's kind of a general sort of disconnect there where you kind of go like, am I happy Jenny's dead and that like Forrest is crying over someone he shouldn't be crying about? Or am I part of the other group where I understood Jenny and are you for fucking real?
I feel
Why
like
are you
it's
doing this now?
I mean, it is his house.
I don't give a fuck.
oh yeah, but but for me, I feel like we don't at this point of time, because Jenny's dead, we're not caring about Jenny, we're caring about Forrest, and because we're going and caring about our titular main character, he's just like what emotions and pain that he goes through, seeing like the same sort of perspective of seeing her in the bed where he saw his dying mum as well, and it's like it kind of like repeats the story a bit for that, but honestly it's done on purpose, but it's because the story repeated in that situation where he kind of sees loss twice in the same sort of situation, and that's like it hurts him on a real level because it's something that he's experienced for the second time now. That one of the few women that he's ever loved in his life is dead, and that's like fucking ouch. That hurts obviously, and because of that ouch feeling, and you see him, and it's like see him being grieving. That's like
it's all of those things, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like you said, so because it's not just death of Jenny, but it's the death of Forrest. As his companion, his youth, what his childhood was. The first woman that kind of like sympathized with him, and like you said earlier, that having this connection with someone, the mother of his child. It's all these things compounded into one, and with his brain the way he is, it's something he can't quite comprehend, and you just feel sorry for him, and you just feel like this guy's been through so much, he doesn't quite understand it, and it's this childhood innocence that we've said before that he has in spades, and you just empathize like you would like something like you would see something in nature where you just feel that these animals don't really understand what's going on, but you can understand what they must be feeling through because you just feel sorry for them. You have this sympathy and this empathy. And with someone like Forrest, it's kind of like he's only really had his mother. He hasn't had anyone else. And sure, this woman has done this and that and been taking advantage of him intentionally or otherwise. Who's to say? But he always wanted to be there for her. He wanted to be her protector, and that was his role. And he always wanted to be by her side. And his kind of and this naivety he has, he just wanted to be that knight in shining armor. And now he hasn't got that anymore. So I thought the film kind of did a good representation of that, how Forrest thought of her, rather than sure, she took advantage of him. She only was there for him when she needed him, rather than when he needed her. But so you can understand him doing the things he did throughout history. He found these outlets to kind of like channel his frustration there, try and make something out of himself. Obviously, most of them were unintentional, and he just sort of waded through life, and he sort of found happiness. And at the end of the film, he kind of realizes he's found happiness without her, and he can do things on his own. And that his growth is like, wait, I can be a father in my own way, and the way things ended up, it's kind of like that was he still had a story that he wanted to pass on to the next generation. And yes, it's a hard one to pick apart because, like you guys have said, there's so much things in it, and there's also so much that kind of doesn't quite make sense because Forrest kind of like in and out of these events by not really doing anything, just being himself, and he just happens to be just like luck just saves him. And so it kind of like gives him a kind of like plot armor, you could say, because he does this and that, and nothing really kind of like stops him from achieving what he set out to do. And if he doesn't go out and set out something, kind of gets pushed in another direction to do this, and it's kind of like, oh, what is his lot in life? He doesn't quite know, but I think eventually him being a father was the kind of like the calling card for him to be like, okay, maybe this is the thing I can do. Very kind of fairy tale kind of ending the film had. It kind of that was the trajectory he was bound to be, I suppose. That was my take of it. It's a hard one to kind of put your finger on because you guys have covered it quite well. But I do have a lot of funness for this film. It just has a lot of like quirky charm to it that I just really dig. It's silly at points, but it's just a live action fairy tale about a big kid, you could say, unintended.
That's the thing, though. Like, I don't know. I'd be really interested to see what the book's like, because if it is that it goes like way more outlandish and whatever, I'd be really interested in that, because I don't know if it's like, I don't know if it's sort of, it's a little bit close to the line with the film, because it is that kind of like, it is that sort of magical realism sort of subgenre kind of thing, but yeah, I don't know like how far into it really goes, because like obviously you have the bit with like the t-shirt and then like the smiley face comes off of him wiping his face and like all of that stuff. So like there is like
shit
elements
happens.
of like there are small elements
That
of
was
magic
such
to it.
stupid shit.
But that's what makes that was hilarious though.
Oh yeah, and even though we're probably going to favorite scenes later, obviously, but like the things like the Bubba Gump shrimp origin with Bubba's story, and Forrest kind of like no, he had his mate, and he always wanted to go be there for him, even though he didn't think he was listening, but he was, and he wanted to keep that legacy. And that was one of his goals, was just like, I need to make this Bubba Gump shrimp thing a real thing. So even if like in reality it wouldn't make sense how he would do that on his own, but yeah, it just had this like innocence that I kind of admire. That a kid, you'd be thinking about these things in the school playground, just dreaming about, yeah, I want to do this when I'm older, and I want to achieve this. And some of these things don't always come to pass, but Forrest actually did that. I think that's quite a nice like.
It did that so well, but it actually broke the fourth wall, and it actually made a bunch of real life Bubba Gump shrimp restaurants in the States.
That was what I was going to ask about, because I meant to look this up beforehand, but I forgot to. And I imagine like maybe Simon or Ben, you might know this, but like did Paramount own a stake in those restaurants?
That's a good question, isn't it? I feel like they probably have a little bit of it, because like there was one in London for a while, but unfortunately because how it ran, the franchise and like the seafood was a bit shit, and like but when you pass by, all the Forrest Gump like memorabilia and all that sort of like stuff is being sold there. So I do believe they would have to have like a license for that to say, hey, it's actually a picture of Tom Hanks and stuff, and he's just there with Lieutenant Dan, with Lieutenant Dan with the Fortune magazine. It's like stuck on the wall somewhere in like a frame, and it's like, oh, that's quite nice actually to see it like that. But it's like all of that like sort of merchandising and props and all that stuff have to be because it's essentially all owned by Paramount, so it would have to be licensed out by them. So I would imagine they get a profit from that. I can't imagine it being a lot, admittedly, because like it's only a restaurant, and it's like I don't know how many restaurants there are in the States, but like if it's as bad as the one in London, it's not great.
Yeah. The thing that made me wonder, because I mean, like obviously, you know, it's Bubba Gump, but I noticed watching it this time that even the logo is the same.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, they absolutely kept it with like because of the film, because it's like the reason why I remember now 100% that is 100% of the film is they sold a ship, like a model ship of the shrimping boat that had like that shitty hand painted word of Jenny on it, and I'm like, yeah. So it's definitely part of Paramount. So they probably get like, I don't know, 5%.
Yeah, they probably get cut of it, even if they don't know.
Yeah, they get a piece of their pie, and it's
I
like
remember
it's not.
hearing that Tom Hanks owns part of it, but I don't know if he still does.
Well, I mean, he would have to. I feel like he would probably get royalties from it because, like, you can't just take my face and plaster it throughout the whole fucking restaurant and not give me a cut of the money. It's kind of like taking a piss, isn't it?
I think he tends to like retain rights for his characters as well, because there was something a little while ago. It was like it was one of the animated characters he did. I can't remember who it was, but there was like something.
Woody?
Sold. No, it wasn't Woody. It was something else.
He should have sued for Woody.
Oh, Polar Express.
There was some animated character that he owned part of the rights for, and then because that character's rights got sold, he ended up making like $2 million off it just because he owned part of it.
I think it might have been Polar Express, maybe, because that is Tom Hanks, who's the train conductor of Polar Express. So it might have been that. I don't know. I'm not
I can't remember now.
100% sure, but I
To be
feel
fair,
like
he just
that.
played like 4
But it's
characters
like,
in
but
Express.
I've never seen that.
I didn't swear. No, really?
No.
you're not missing much.
That's another Zemeckis one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, the CGI is a bit behind.
Okay.
behind my
all
face.
the CGI. Sort of like in this film.
Well, I mean, you say that, but like the Lieutenant Dan not having legs and him like going through the scenes without when he doesn't have his legs is pretty good CGI for its time, right? Because that's it's like now you see it and you can see like where the bandages on his knees are obviously with the green screening or blue screening at that time, where his legs were in like blue stockings, and he's like, all right, yeah, it's been rotoscoped out. But during that time, that shit was amazing to see because you obviously didn't know how they did it, and like it was so well done, especially because like from what I understand, Zemeckis had to tell the actor for the day, and it goes, no, you pulled your leg too hard, so it looks like you still had legs. You can't pull your leg too hard, or so it has to make sure you don't have legs. You can understand? Yes. And it's like, I don't think you understand. Okay, do it again. And it's like, as you pull his legs like up higher, so it looks like he obviously didn't have his legs, and he put his leg down, and it's just like, yeah, that's better. And it's like, okay, looks like you don't have legs now, so it's better. And it's like, okay. So so it's like, so during that time, I feel like the CG for the like TV scenes, yeah, I 100% agree. That lip dubbing is fucking horrendous shit. But like for the Lieutenant Dan,
he said he wanted to pee.
Really good.
It's like, get out of here.
Yeah, I was saying earlier, I actually think like if Lieutenant Dan was sort of taken more seriously or like given more significance as a character, I think I'd have gotten on with it a lot more. Because like if Lieutenant Dan was just there to go like, this bloke is an idiot, why are you listening to him a bit more often? I'd have been like, yeah, fair enough. But that bit where Lieutenant Dan was like, you don't know what it's like to not have legs, and then Forrest Gump's like, yeah, I do. I was like, dude, your experience of not having legs is very different to Lieutenant Dan's, because Lieutenant Dan isn't just going to suddenly start running with braces on.
Yeah, when he didn't have his leg, his experience of not having legs was still essentially walking.
I mean, like, I don't think. Wait, I don't think he said not having legs. I thought he's like not being able to run, wasn't it?
But even then he was able to run. But no, it's something like you don't know what it's like to
not have legs.
Yeah,
is it really not have legs?
Or to not be able to use your legs or something like that. But yeah, no, when Forrest Gump was like, "Yes, I do," I was like, "No, not in the way that Dan does."
Yeah, okay. Maybe.
Yeah,
Okay.
Forrest, you still got on a bus. You still walked up some stairs to get into a bus. Dan can't do. Dan
But then
can't walk
now,
upstairs. He's got a
with
wheelchair.
his metal legs.
Yeah, but not that.
I mean,
he had a wheelchair.
yeah, I mean, then afterwards, as Lieutenant Dan went, "I'm here to get my sea legs. You don't have no legs, Lieutenant Dan," and that's just like, yeah, okay. That's it's a very simple-minded thinking. And like,
all we need to
I can't.
know, all we need to remember about Lieutenant Dan and Bubba is that Forrest never considered them friends. Because he said right at the beginning, me and Jenny got on like peas and carrots. She was my best friend, my only friend.
No, because he didn't meet Bubba yet. Oh, like during that time.
No, he's recounting it.
Yeah, but he recounts the story multiple times, so he doesn't. You can't really tell me. It's like when did he recount this story? Was he recounting it during that particular?
He recounts it
at least
Jenny's introduction, but he still knew Bubba and Lieutenant Dan.
Yeah, but he was recounting it to whom? Or during that time, was he recounting it to his mother? He recounts his story at least 3 fucking times because of like the lady at the bus stop.
He doesn't recount it every time. Different people sit down next to him.
Sorry, he does, but is his good friend as well.
Yeah,
he does say he's his good friend though.
Well, like after the Bubba thing, so it's not that they weren't his friends, and the Dan guy, he wasn't his friend at first. He was just someone he respected and kind of cared about, but he became a friend, and then he became a good friend and partner.
But at the point where he's telling the story, that all happened already.
Which time? Sorry, which?
He tells this as early as he's introducing Jenny. And he says, she was my good friend. She was my only friend.
This is the first recounting of the story, I guess. I would say his only friend because Bubba's dead. That means he can't be his friend. He's a dead guy.
Lieutenant Dan's not dead.
Yeah, but he doesn't really call Dan his friend. He calls Lieutenant Dan. It's like his superior.
He's still his mate.
Friend. He's his superior. He's his captain. It's not the same for him.
Also, Alec, I would like to say as well, you have to try and see it differently. When he words things, he doesn't word things a lot of the ways that a lot of people usually would. So some of the meaning can be construed, and as I think maybe some of you or maybe Camilla said as well, like that he's in his mind space of at the time in that story, she was his only friend. He's not thinking of the big picture. Like he's very bad at that. He doesn't have a good concept of that. So he's thinking of at this time in this story that I'm telling, yes, she is my only blah blah, but he doesn't give context.
Yeah.
Which would imply past tense.
Yeah, and like Camilla was saying, he used past tense. So again, it's past.
He says my only friend.
You're overthinking it.
No.
Well, I mean, like,
Alec,
wait. Because he does use past tense because he says we was like peas and carrots. So it's like that's past tense. We was peas and carrots. We was like peas and carrots. So that's in past tense as well. So it's like, so he's using past tense and present tense as in the same sentence. So it's like you can't blame him. He has bad English.
I can.
Yeah, he's also he has special needs. If you didn't catch that, Forrest Gump has
you have special needs, my friend.
Yeah, well, I'm sure most of us in this call do. Me,
yes, I would agree. Most of you do.
Yeah, but it's like the thing is like when he counts his story, it's like a kid just like spewing consciousness out of his brain constantly. You don't know what he's saying, and it's like sometimes you say things that don't quite. It's a contradiction, but it's like, does it matter? I don't think it does. No.
To finish that. Thanks. You could put the phone down.
I mean, I feel like he's also only referred to Jenny as peas and carrots. I don't think he's referred to anyone else as peas and carrots. Even when he was with Bubba during the time and like in fucking Nam when it's all fucking like raining down, even then he was like, how did he describe his relationship with Bubba? It was just like, he says it's like he said he was my best friend. And it was just like, I don't know how to explain it more. It's like he doesn't think of it like that. I feel like he just says all friends are best friends, and like all people who don't know you are strangers. It's the reason why when he gets onto that bus coach, it's like, oh, my mama told me not to get on vehicles with people I don't know. And it's like, oh, I'm Forrest Gump. He goes, okay, then we ain't no strangers no more. Okay, and he got on the bus. I don't know. I can't really explain his thought process because I don't think I could understand his thought process. And it's just like, for the story wise, it may sound a bit off, but I think it's something that is fine.
I feel like if I was Bubba or Lieutenant Dan, I'd be pretty upset.
Forrest. I mean,
I feel like if I'd made him all his money.
Friend.
Wait. Say this.
If you're telling the story about being in primary school, you're like, oh, John was my only friend in primary school. It would just imply that you were talking about that time in your life that you're telling this story about. He's not like, after 44 years of life, Jenny was my only friend and we were like peas and carrots. He's like, when I was 6, she was my only friend. And he didn't have any other friends until he met Bubba. So it would, I don't know.
Yeah, so take that, Alec.
Well, just because it's your birthday, I'll let it slide.
Yeah, okay, fine. Okay. Okay. But in any case, was that Manuel, was it?
No, I missed the birthday. I'm sorry.
I mean, it's not
like he's your only friend.
Happy birthday. Hope it's
Thank
great.
you.
Well, I was gonna say about his line of thinking. Obviously, it depends on the situation, but he takes things very literally, and also it's I can't explain it, but it kind of makes sense with certain aspects of autism, like to a high degree. There's certain things he exhibits that are like classic of that or something similar to it. So I can get why he would like process things the way he does. So just like, yeah, you would miss this completely. You don't get the context of the situation. But it's just like, oh, not a stranger no more. Okay, I'm understanding. Just kind of makes me laugh.
Oh wait, he cut out for me for the end. What did you say?
It just makes Emmanuel laugh.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah, that's the last thing he said.
Oh sorry, yeah. It makes me cut out a bit. I was like, huh? Okay.
It just makes me.
Yeah, it's like. Okay. So yeah, okay. So okay, let's see. Because like with how he is, because of the way he is, like all of the stuff that has happened to him and all the things that he has gone through, it just, oh no, I feel like it's because we obviously he's not there. He's a fictional character because especially with the scene where they had finally desegregated the school and afterwards the lady dropped her book. If if a white guy went over, picked up the book and went, "Oh, you dropped this, ma'am," and it would have been wow. That would have changed history for everything. That would have been a whole different world that we've lived in. Because if that happened in real life, that would have been like, history's really changed from there. It's like, oh damn. Obviously, this is again story elements that have of what America and how it could have been on should have been. Obviously, as you said, Rob, for a bit, it's hard for him because he is quite an influential person, and all the stuff he does, it's quite important. But it's just one of those things that he's not really remembered. And I guess that was one of the reasons I feel like it could have been frustrating for you. But I was just thinking about it for now. And it's like with the lady and the guy who was on the bus, who was at the bus stop on the bench talking about, oh wait, you're telling me you're part of the Bubba Gump Corporation? And he walks up and he's like, we'll sit next to a millionaire. And afterwards, it's like he has to show the Fortune magazine to the lady, and she's like, "Oh, well, ain't that nice?" And it's like, "Oh yeah, that," because it's kind of those things. It's like, even though he was called Gump, they didn't realize it was actually him, obviously. But it's kind of like you could be called, I don't know, Tim Apple, and you could be the CEO of Apple, but it's I don't know, he just no one really no okay, let's know who is the CEO of Coca-Cola? Do you know his name? Do you know his picture? Do you know what he looks like? It's no one really could really go if the CEO of Coca-Cola was sitting right next to you on a bus stop, would you know it's him? You would not. It's just some of those things, and I feel like that is what you all right?
I don't like that Rob's croc is part of my image right now.
Oh, no, okay. I'm glad you said croc and not something else.
I guess it is better than the alternative.
Oh shit! Actually, that reminds me of another thing. So, Manuel, how did you find the footwear for this one? Because afterwards, he was going for a run and he was wearing them Nike running shoes. So I feel like it was
more propaganda.
Well, just do it.
No, because he was going for a run, but he was wearing running shoes.
The appropriate footwear.
The appropriate footwear, yeah. So it's
You're funny.
Yes, thank you.
I did find it interesting that at the beginning of the film, I was just like, "Why is this shoe so dirty?" And then realized, oh, he's wearing the same shoes he's been running in for years, and of course they're messed up, but he's still wearing them. Man, the fact that those shoes aren't completely worn through, who
I was
knows?
going to say that.
That's exactly what Nike wanted you to think about
it. Oh, well made. Nah.
There's a Nike shareholder in the Academy Awards. He was just like, "Fuck Shawshank Redemption."
I have to
show any likes.
I have to say, usually whenever there's product placement, I'm just like, product placement. I think this is one of the few times I was so distracted by everything else going.
I just realized they have alternate viewings of shoes, because the bit in Shawshank Redemption is Morgan Freeman goes, "When was the last time you looked at anyone's shoes?" Whereas Forrest Gump, they go, "You can know a lot about someone by looking at their shoes."
Oh shit!
Oh fuck! That's actually a very good parallel. Fuck.
Nike is in the fucking Academy Awards. They want people to look at your fucking shoes.
And then Pulp Fiction is directed by a person who's like, "Fuck the shoes. See, let me see your feet."
We could have had a
It's all down to
shoe
shoes and
a foot conspiracy, a feet conspiracy. I don't know. I don't know. But it's like
so many, it's like Game of Thrones. There's so many motivations and so,
Game of Souls, more like.
yeah.
Oh, great one.
Okay, but yeah, it's just like, you know, running, but for product placement as well. That's the reason why I make the sponsor for Dr. Pepper, because he does say he drinks like 15 Dr. Peppers during that waiting time during the thing, and they're all free. And it's like he has
I need to
Dr.
pee.
Pepper. Yeah, but he has Dr. Pepper throughout his whole life as well. It's like when he goes to visit Bubba's family, and he's like, I got a new haircut, new suit, the bus ride, like 2 Dr. Peppers, and like gas. And he's like, then I have so much money left. Or he went to like that New Year's party with Lieutenant Dan. He had, instead of alcohol, the Dr. Pepper. Or when he was watching like the New Year's celebrations at home with Jenny, he had the Dr. Pepper. It was so much. It's quite a lot of advertisement in this film. I completely forgot about it. But maybe it was just the film during that. You know, it's like the films of that time had a lot of like advertisement.
The 90s were bad for it.
Yes, that's probably what it is. Yeah, because I was thinking, is that also a comment about America and like all the advertisement just placed everywhere? But I was like, no, that was just because of the time period of the actual movie, and that's just like how movies were made. I was like, yeah, it's probably it more, because it's like, I don't know, it's just like seeing all the advertisement there. It was like, it felt natural, if you know what I mean. So it's kind of like it made sense. I don't know how to explain it more.
I think it's because of what you said earlier about it being the story of America. Like
Yeah.
a lot of the story of America is like corporate greed. So it doesn't seem out of place.
Yeah, that's probably it. And like, even just like him, as Forrest was just talking about all the stuff that he's going through, and and how Lieutenant Dan invested in a fruit company, and we don't have to worry about money no more. So it's just like, all right, yeah, he's got Apple, and it's like, all right, yeah, it makes perfect sense. And I don't know, it's just Lieutenant, and then afterwards, Lieutenant Dan saying that he's going to be an astronaut, which is like, well, the actor-wise, he goes on to film Apollo 13 afterwards. That's funny in itself. That's a very meta joke.
With Tom Hanks.
Yeah, with Tom Hanks. Yeah, and that was funny as well. But I think it was already like wrapped up in the film, because he has his legs with titanium alloys, I guess. And he's like, yeah, the same type that they use for the space shuttle. And it's like, all right, that was symbolic of him being in like an astronaut or being in outer space, because something that is for actually like space age is something that he's using. And I think that was a very nice way to wrap that.
I thought you were going to say it's symbolic of him being in Apollo 13, and I was like, that is not how symbolism works. Okay.
No, that's the one. I said yes because of him being an astronaut in the movie, and that's what like space age material is for. For like for the space shuttle, and that's like same thing for him at least, and that's like helps wrap up his whole sort of fucking like story arc, and that's like, that's nice. That's a nice sort of like, it helps round off the whole story, and it's got the feelings that are like a bit more like completed in the package. And I was like, that's good. So I feel like everyone is kind of just slowing down steam. So would you like guys to go through Favorite scenes?
Yeah, I do have one. I have one.
Go for it.
The bit that made I was crying with laughter was the bit where he's just running and running and running, and he's been doing it for so long that his beard's massive and he's got like long hair and whatever. And then
Well,
he
he
just
looks like
goes,
Humphrey.
yeah, yeah. So he's
Right,
been running for so long that he looks like Humphrey, and then he's just like, I'm tired, I'm going home. That really caught me off guard. I loved it.
But that's a very Humphrey line as well.
Hey,
What am I doing?
Pat, you need to be here right now. I hope you're watching this back. Probably not. But
I guess it's also the thing about it when it's like they like split and like let him run through like one passing, but they were like, "What are we gonna do now?" And it's like, "Are you guys fucking a cult? Are you like, why are you?" It's like you guys, I don't know. It's like they were running with him for like reasons, and there's just like, why are you running?
Why?
It's more
Was it for
symbolism of
world peace?
America,
Is it
though,
for
isn't
like
it?
the end of war? What's the opinion? That's
What? Why are you
fuck
running?
you're right as well, right? Yeah, because it's just like what is it? Why are they doing? They just follow. They're going with the flow of America, I guess.
Basically, yeah.
Oh, oh shit! Yeah, it's true as well. He's running because he wants to run, but afterwards, everyone else makes it. Why does he have to run? Yeah, I guess I don't know. It's yeah, it's like yeah, it feels like it could be a bit cult-ish, but like I don't know. I feel like I feel like it's never really explained why everyone starts following him during the run, but and it's like they just do, don't they?
I feel like different people had their own reasons, but the main one who I was just like, dude, you're a fool. He's just like, what do we do now? It's just like,
Keep running, or don't keep running. It's up to
or
you.
yeah, exactly, or go home. Saying that there are people in America that like they're actual professional runners, so it's different, but that actually do similar things like that
No
for
one runs in America.
hmm, so out of like a few months of the year, they might run like almost every single day for like not the whole day, of course, but they might run like almost every single day. And it was this podcast I was listening to like, talking about the different kind of watches they might use and the different if they do use a smart watch, like they have to keep in mind the battery life and all sorts of other stuff. It was interesting. But yeah, you have people who do that just because they love it that much and they're also part of their training. So
They will run every day to the cheesecake.
I mean, that's
to cheesecake.
a good that's a good place to run to, admittedly.
Yeah, the Cheesecake Factory. You always run over there.
You know, would I run to a cheesecake factory to beat the lines? Absolutely, Jesus. The lines at Cheesecake Factory is
It's
horrible.
like you're kind of American yourself.
I mean, I have been there for like a year, so
that
like
doesn't
yeah.
constitute. Anyway.
Apparently there's a good halal cheesecake factory in Dubai.
Okay, let's don't divert.
Okay. So, do you have a favorite scene relic?
Sound like you said you have a favourite scene, Billy.
I liked. She taught me to climb. I taught her to dangle. I found that great. That was catches me. No, other than that.
Okay. Cool. Okay. Let's move on to someone more
But
positive
I do
for the story.
feel for Lieutenant Dan though, and actually, to be honest, I like everything. Bubba, even things that don't involve Bubba, but like his family is fantastic. Just a very small interaction. Are you stupid or something? And he goes, "Stupid is as stupid does." And she goes,
Yeah.
And then the later when she gets the letter and she falls over, like, that's all good. And yeah, Lieutenant Dan, I feel like, yeah, he definitely deserved better than Forrest gave him. But,
Gave him a multi-billion-dollar
No.
company.
No. He gave Forrest a multi-billion company. Thank you.
No. Forrest
no.
gave him the multi.
No.
He was captain.
No.
He was the owner. Then afterwards, he gave him
He
the money
said,
to
if
look
you're
after.
a captain, I'll be your first mate. And because he's an honourable guy, he cashed in on that. And he held himself accountable to be that. And then he saw an opportunity with what Forrest understood to be a fruit company and invested in it on his behalf. And that is why Forrest is a bazillionaire.
Yeah, but he needed that
Forrest
money
didn't give
to
him
invest.
shit.
He gave him the money to give him to, he
Without
gave him the
Forrest's
He let him on his
investment,
boat and fucking.
money.
Lieutenant
With his
Dan took
money
the helm.
investments and him going through all the shit that he did go through, if he didn't go through all that shit and all that storm and to get all that money for them, because people still needed the shrimp for the barbecues and stuff, he and Forrest together got that money. He didn't get it by himself. He had Forrest.
Yeah.
Well,
Dan
Simon's
made
right.
that money
he
for
did.
Forrest.
Simon is right.
Simon is wrong.
Because without
right with this.
without the investment that Forrest made from the money that he made being in the military and the promise that he kept to Bubba, this wouldn't have happened. Put your belly away.
Yeah, he
Look
would.
at it.
The croc
At
is
the
on
end
the
of the
stomach.
day, without the investment, the shrimp thing doesn't happen. So,
Forrest can't spell
Yeah.
investment.
well, whether
doesn't
he
matter.
can or not, it doesn't matter. Without that investment, it doesn't happen.
Exactly. Dan got him that investment.
Yeah, because Forrest gave him the money. That's how that works.
If Dan wanted to do
I
what
gave
Dan wanted,
if afterwards I finished shrimping, got a lot of money, and afterwards I got myself another boat to continue investing. Then afterwards, that's still Forrest and Dan making that money together. Then him going, Dan, can you take care of my company and my money? And for Lieutenant Dan going, yeah, sure. I'm going to invest it in Apple. That's still Forrest giving him the money. It's not exactly him.
Forrest gave him the keys.
Lieutenant Dan going, yeah, he gave him most of the ownership. That's how shares work and stock.
Yeah, that's
you
how
know,
Dan
Donald Trump got in power.
No, sorry. If Dan wasn't a man of his word, Forrest would still be in the middle of the ocean, not for catching shrimp.
Yeah, but that's
Yeah.
still
You
because
need
Dan
Dan.
is a man of his word. But you still need Forrest to get that ship and still having that money. It's
The
Forrest
idea-
telling that white lie to
The
sell
idea
them.
isn't Forrest's either. It's Bubba's.
Well, the idea was Bubba's.
Yeah, so
But Forrest used the money he had saved and a promise to his mate to set this up. Now, whatever happened afterwards, great. Lieutenant Dan did a great thing. But without the early inception of the idea, none of that happens. So whatever
Yeah.
Lieutenant Dan was to do with the rest of his life was completely irrelevant.
Yeah, but Forrest
Without
wouldn't have got
that-
anywhere without Dan. So
okay, you could
It
say
They
was the
needed
first
they needed
part.
both.
They needed both. It was a team effort, right? Because no matter what, it still was initially Forrest's investment, because Forrest was the one who had to go in front of the camera to go, I just love I was on the All-American ping pong team and I love my mouth ping pong like paddle. And like he got that $25,000 check. It was his investment of that $25,000 check to buy that boat. Then it needed the teamwork with Lieutenant Dan to come over. Then they got the money from the shrimp. First you get, because then you get the money, then you get the power, then you get
And
the
you
woman.
get the
That's
women.
how you get it. That's how that's how it is. But it's like, but that's how
Anyway,
that is, because
no. But I think we can all agree. Dan spearheaded a lot of it.
okay, that I can agree. But it's still
Yes, I win.
that spearhead only came to existence because Forrest bought the spear. That's how you could say it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Forrest
it's-
bought a stick,
And
Dan
he
made it a
became the
spear.
spear.
And therefore,
That's fine.
Dan is the driving force between Forrest getting anywhere in life. Thank you.
Yeah, but without the stick, he's just got nothing.
But he still
But what?
gave it the point.
Yeah, well, if I could, yeah, okay.
Forrest would still be fucking about with a stick.
And he made it sharp. So I mean, like, I don't know what you're trying to say. It's kind of
without Dan, it's useless.
Well, I mean, no, he's still got the stick. He could have whacked instead of speared. So I don't know what you're saying.
Forrest gave him being crippled, and Dan gave him apple. So
yeah, but
I think in the grand calculus of the multiverse here, being crippled is less valuable than apple. So Dan gave him apple, and Forrest.
Well, I mean, no, that's not even right completely. Either,
I mean, Forrest didn't make him crippled.
Well, Forrest saved. Forrest
him.
didn't make him crippled.
He gave him a life of being crippled because he could have just died in the jungle.
Yeah, but he still gave him his life,
and then Forrest still be fucked.
And he also helped him by helping him find one thing that we all agree on is very important during that time of America. He helped him find Jesus. And that's the
what the fuck?
Historically, about hang on again. Sorry. So Forrest helped him find Jesus. Dan helped him find Apple, and I think you'll find Jesus's market share is nowhere near
Apple's. In the name of the Lord,
he's got a lot of churches.
But anyway,
he's got a lot of churches.
In history.
But how many Stormfronts does he have? How many iTunes did Jesus generate? Not that many. He's got a lot of songs about him, but he didn't produce them. Therefore, Dan gave him the better investment. Therefore, yeah.
But to be honest, Forrest took it half and half, and he split it again half and half with Bubba's family. So he only had like a quarter of investment. So it doesn't matter too much. That's okay. Anyway, Ben, what was your favorite scene, Ben?
The scene where he gets that letter from Apple and says, "Well, some fruit company wants an
investment." Jesus Christ!
And he doesn't say thank you, Dan.
No, in all seriousness, there's lots of great moments in this film that I do like, and appreciate.
And they're all lieutenants.
There's some of the ones when they're just kids, as one of the earliest ones when it's him and Jenny. And I think it's one of the strongest parts that works the most in their relationship when it's just the two of them as kids, just like being kids basically. And you learn more about Jenny's past and her abusive father. You don't see what he does, but you get the whole implication of what he does do. And then that scene where they go past our house, which is quite dilapidated and stuff, and then you get the payoff later on where they return to it all even more dilapidated than it was, and it's just abandoned. She's just throwing rocks at it, and just to see the implication of what that upbringing had on her is quite important. But other than that, I think just a lot of the humor that Tom Hanks brings in this film. I think it's one of those films that is just a Tom Hanks central performance that just makes the film work for me. I think not many other actors, maybe Robin Williams could have done it, but not many other actors living could have done it with so much like earnestness that he did. And just him doing the run across America, I just love that. And the payoff I've mentioned, which is just hilarious. And even the people he meets along the way, and it's like, where does he sleep? Where does he rest? And that, but it's just like amusing to just go on this journey with him. And
he rests in the lap of Apple, or if you will, Apple.
He's eating on the vegetables that are thrown at him. But yeah, I just love Tom Hanks's performance more than anything. And yeah, pick any of the humor scenes like the Dr. Pepper scene in the White House. I gotta pee. I could see myself doing the same thing, just drinking too many drinks before I meet someone important. I'm just like, I just love that bit.
Mm-hmm.
I did wonder why when we kept beating up, he kept going for a piss. And I was like, hey, I feel pretty important.
All
Not as important as Jesus or Lieutenant Dan, if you will. But
I mean, in all honesty, like all this means is that you're praising Apple, and like I don't know what else you want me to say because you hate Apple and you're praising it currently.
I hate Apple. I'm not going to deny their profit.
Okay, fair enough. So, Emmanuel, what was your favorite scene?
I didn't say God bless Lieutenant Dan for investing in a very ethical business model, did I? I said, well done, Lieutenant Dan, for making a lot of money, which is what Apple is good for some reason. I can't tell you why, because their fucking streaming service is absolute dog shit.
Says you.
It says me. The only man here who makes sense and who backs Lieutenant Dan against all odds somehow. But yeah, I was trying to figure it the fuck out, and I couldn't do it. So
So, Emmanuel, what was your favorite scene?
Before that, two things. Sorry, Alec.
Yeah.
Actually, I probably should say it.
It's shit.
I was just trying to think. I'm too tired, so I'm forgetting things. I'm thinking to say, but point one. I'm sorry you had your experience with Apple TV.
Me too.
But Apple device. This was the key problem. Two, you did not ask Pat or anyone how to do it, and then any one of us could have like helped you out. And like, this is negative service when it's designed to be used in a way that you're not using it. So of course it's going to be really hard by default.
He's got to start now.
You don't sound very sorry.
He's going to rip off his shirt in a second. Jesus.
You're making it sound like it's my fault.
It was your fault.
It was not my fault.
For being Apple illiterate.
I sent you a video showing you.
I talked you through it, but you'd already given up.
You took me through it, and then I showed you that it wasn't working the way you showed me how to do it. Because
oh man, I feel like I could just like fucking hell. Anyways,
if you will, when you compare the interface of Apple TV with any other interface, well, it's like comparing Forrest Gump to anyone. It's just kind of like perplexingly popular and successful for fucking no reason anyone can figure out, really. It just is. Everyone just goes, wow, he's brilliant. And there he goes.
Oh, man. Okay,
so favorite scene?
Yeah.
Yeah, back to the point.
Apple's actually the best fucking thing to connect to Forrest Gump, actually. They're entirely the same business model. They just kind of just do shit and people go, brilliant.
I'm sorry that I brought it up now. There's lots I could say. Anyway, before that, sorry, Rob, I couldn't find out the thing you was talking about with the animated character and Tom Hanks. What did you say about it again? He's been and sued a lot of people.
I can't remember what character it is, but there's some character that he voiced, and he retained some of the rights to that character, so that when the character got sold recently, he made like a couple of $1 million.
It's all the animated characters of Forrest Gump. It's John Lennon, John F. Kennedy, Richard Nixon.
Oh, cool.
Except for Elvis, because that was done by Kurt Russell.
Yeah, because I think.
Yeah. He's not credited.
It was one of the best.
Yeah, but he's not actually.
Sorry to interrupt.
Oh no! I was just saying he wasn't credited for it because he just didn't. He just wanted to keep it a secret. I guess I don't know why. I was like, yeah, the voice you hear for Elvis is Kurt Russell, and he does. Yeah, as Ben was trying to say, he does do like one of the best sort of like Elvis impersonations.
Yeah, I think how they show it as well, because it's just like Elvis is just blurred in the background. You don't see him, but you can hear him, and you know it's him by the silhouette and the shape of how he moves.
I so wish they'd have done that with all of the cameos.
Yeah, I think it would have been better.
It's just kind of, you're just looking at him from the back, and that's kind of the joke. Whereas relying on I'm gonna make their mouth move and pretend they're talking to him. It's just like, stop it. Like, you should,
Yeah, that the bit with
the
Kennedy.
general foresight will just tell you this will look terrible in 2 years, 5
Well, I
years.
think that's what you're saying is true, because it's kind of the most effective scenes with Kennedy are from the back of his head, and you just see Forrest Gump's impression and his face, and you see all you need to do is just see him seeing Kennedy from that angle, and it just works better because you can make him say anything. You don't need to see his face at all. But you
I
know
feel
that's
like
Kennedy.
I feel like that's also. I feel like one of the best jokes are the jokes that aren't fully explained or like fully like shown out to you, especially when he's in the bathroom washing his hand and there's a picture of Marilyn Monroe there, and I was like, oh yeah, completely forgot about that as well. I was like, oh yeah, that's obviously makes perfect sense. Sorry, mate, but we've interrupted you twice now. What was your favorite scene, mate?
What's the Marilyn Monroe thing? That's okay.
Oh yeah, because President during time was JFK. Afterwards, he was like, I need to use the bathroom. I need to pee. And he goes into the bathroom and he's washing his hands. There's a side picture of Marilyn Monroe in the bathroom.
Oh, because
His friend.
to have a thing together.
Yeah,
there was an affair that they had.
That's the good one. It's hard for me to pick a favorite scene, not necessarily because I like it so much, because I but a scene that kind of pops out to me is when he's sending his kid off to school for the first time. It's the same bus driver, though I feel like they didn't age her enough. But anyway, same bus driver, and the different way that the young kid interacts with her compared to how he did. It's just, I think it's just kind of nice. Like, and Camilla was saying, there's one thing that stuck with me. She's like, when he was not this particular scene, but he's like trying to teach him how to play ping pong, and he's like, if you did have like a dad that was a Vietnam vet, been through the war, experienced it, like really terrible stuff, you want someone who is more like him, who was just kind and like patient and just was trying. It's just like, yeah, he's a nice guy. But yeah, that's my favorite scene. That I'll have to say the one with the bus.
and after these kids start seeing dead people, then afterwards the whole fucking shit happens.
What?
Oh,
Are you talking-
because that's. Oh yeah, talk about his kids because the actor is Haley Joel Osment, and he's obviously Sixth Sense next. Is that his next film? He probably is. But it's like, yeah, he's a child actor that is just the whole thing.
He was in Liar Liar as well.
Yeah.
He's in The Boys also, and I believe he voices the protagonist of Kingdom Hearts.
Yes.
Of who?
He's the main character. He's Sora from Kingdom Hearts.
Oh, he actually voices him.
Yeah, he's the main character. He's been the main character for forever. Yeah.
But he didn't expect some anime knowledge from me.
I mean, it's more gaming, but yeah, I appreciate it. Hey.
Blam!
Same diff, Japanese.
Oh man. But yeah, I wonder why I knew I recognized him, but I didn't actually bother looking into the things. I said, oh, I've seen his face a lot.
Haley Joel Osment.
Yes. Ooh. Okay. How about you, Pat? What was your favorite scene?
I have loads. Obviously, I'm gonna have to pick one. It'd be easy for me to pick the moment that Forrest Gump sees Lieutenant Dan when he's on the boat and he just jumps off it. That made me cry. He's driving along in the boat and he's got all excited and jumped off the thing, even though forgetting the fact that the boat somehow managed to turn around and crash into the little pier thing. That was pretty funny. Another one that sort of made me laugh was when he ran for the first time and his brace just broke off his legs, and they're chasing after him on bikes, and he somehow gets super speed and leaves them all in the dust, which I found pretty funny as well. But I think
that
my favorite
fantastic though if like it smash cuts to the Doctor going like, I don't care how many bullies are chasing you, you need to wear these for 5 more years. And then just puts them straight back on again.
But my favorite scene was, now it's rare that I'll pick something sentimental. This is more like a Rob thing. But like when he's at Jenny's graveside reading the letter and then saying, "Oh, here's the letter from Forrest, but I'm not allowed to read it." That whole sort of scene sort of watered my eyes, let's say. I think the sentimentality of it, the way it was delivered, I really took to that scene really well, and that's probably my favorite part of it.
I really wanted to like that scene because like everything about it was like it's like you say, man. Like everything was kind of like leading up to me going like.
Well, I expected you to cry during it, and I'm sat there like wiping tears away, and I'm like, what the fuck's going on?
Usually I would, man. Like that's the kind of thing that would get me easily. But yeah, no, I just kept thinking like this is very dodgy.
Yeah, give it. Look, watch this film again in about 5 years. Then afterwards, after your mind has reset and like your perspective has changed slightly, you might go, "Yeah, I get it now." I know it could be. It's like you just watch it again. Eventually, you watch it. It's one of the films you can watch again quite easily. And if like if you watch it again in like a few years' time, after you'd be like, yeah.
It's just one of those. It's another one of those things where you kind of go like, because I got a bit misty eyed over that bit as well, but I was kind of going like, am I completely sure of what's happening here, or am I being kind of manipulated a little bit? And yeah,
I watched it without like the idea of like him being childlike, being like childlike throughout the film, and then her sort of taking advantage of him. I sort of just brushed it to a side. I was like, if I wanted to go deep into it, this is all wrong, but I don't think it really plays into my way of thinking when I'm enjoying a film. And just sort of, I'm just basing characters up against each other rather than sort of like, she is behaving like a bit of a nonce here. Because if he's got a child's mind and she's jumping his bones, then it is very dodgy in that way.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but, okay, you're not wrong.
I take that and just move it to one side, and I just take it on face value without any sort of dodginess in it. And I think that's probably where I get a little bit more from it than other people might do.
Yeah. I mean, fair enough. It's like jumping his bones is probably not the best way you could have described that to me.
Yeah, call it jumping his gums.
Hey, actually works. Actually works. Excellent. I like that. Okay. Okay. There are a few favorite scenes. There are a few favorite scenes for me. Like there's like the small scene where it's like Lieutenant Dan and Gump are in New York, and he's rolling through the streets, then getting hit by a taxi, and he's like, "Hey, I'm walking here," which is ironic because he's in the wheelchair. And it's like smart and funny. But the best sort of funny scene that I liked was the whole fucking thing when he was with the drill sergeant. The drill sergeant scene when he first joins the army is some of the funniest shit. That's like, it's so amazing. I don't know why it's so amazing on why it's and how it's so funny. And he's like, "God, what I used to do in this army, to do whatever you tell me to do, drill sergeant." And it's like, "God damn, that's the best fucking answer I've ever heard before." And it's just like something about that is so like insanely. It's so simple, but it's so fucking. It's hilarious the way that that drill sergeant acted with Tom Hanks as well. So something is so. It was so perfect because it's just something about it that's just like clicks, and it's just something. He's obviously saying the answer not with any ill intent. It's just such a simple and basic answer, but it's like the perfect answer for him for the army, and it's like, yeah, it's great. I just don't know what else.
It makes sense. Yeah, and it makes sense for the soldier for the general to be like, "Fucking finally," like just
yeah. Pretty much. It's like, finally, someone who's fucking could take fucking commands and understands.
And I also think it's a damning indictment of the American army. Personally, okay. I do not have critical thought. Fucking excellent.
Not someone that get on very well with Alec then.
But my favourite scene is my favourite scene is the scene that is not properly shown, or that it's not actually a scene. Let me explain. The scene where he's back from the war in Vietnam, and he's with starting the speech with the guy explain it. He was with the guy who was from like Chicago 7. Who was his name again? The guy who played Abby Hoffman, and he was there. He goes and has the speech. He does actually have lines for during that time where he has the like microphone pulled, and like he's actually saying he does actually have a speech, and I think it's one of those quite nice like speeches that is like one of the things where it's one of the first times he says, "That's all I have to say about that." It's kind of like more like solemn speeches, and I think it's one of the nicest. It's like not shown in the movie. It's not. I mean, you don't hear. It's not heard in the movie, but all the words that he says are still there because it's in script, and like the script is got right down, and it's like, what did he say? He says, and he's like asking, "What happened to Vietnam?" And he goes, "Sometimes when people go to Vietnam, they go home to their mamas without any legs. Sometimes they don't go home at all about that." And I was like, that's nice. Hey. That's like a nice. Oh, and Ben
Emmanuel, just leave it there. The irony is brilliant. The irony is literally immaculate for that one. That's just good.
Yeah. I realized what happened.
Oh shit! Did I lag out? Oh fuck!
Nah,
me.
Ben.
That's... Oh fuck!
Stop that! I was like, no.
Oh god damn it! Okay, wait. I'll just wait. I know what won't lag out. Me just copying this.
Oh man.
Okay. I'm gonna post it. I'm gonna post it to the chat so it doesn't lag out. And so you know what the fuck I'm gonna say.
Oh, that's great.
That's okay.
He just died. So he doesn't know either.
Okay.
Sorry,
Sorry.
I couldn't have asked. I couldn't have asked for a better leg.
What part did you not hear?
All of it.
Oh, okay. Actually, then that's perfect then. So you read what the message is. After this, you go, oh, that's quite a nice sentiment. And I feel like that part that was cut out through the power of Deus Ex Machina was perfect. So it was cut out because God wanted it to be cut out. Okay, that's for this chat. So you guys, if for the people watching at home, Dan, maybe John, maybe Tim, I don't know. It's like
none of them are going to be watching.
Yeah, that's true. But like the point is, like if you really want to watch or read, just you can read it on the wiki. It's there. It's a very nice sentiment for what the movie is, and I think that's perfect. So if you guys just do that, I don't know because I can't see lag on my own computer, obviously. But check it out. You understand what it means, and I think that's my actual favorite scene, and I think that's good.
Forrest Gump.
Cool.
Yeah.
Sorry, one thing that strikes me is how long it took him to say all that. Actually, one thing that strikes me.
Like the screen is focused on the police officer just ripping out the wires, and that lady who steals his police badge and starts to plug it back in. Obviously, it's like framing times because just as she plugs it back in, he goes, and that's all I have to say about that. After this, you got Danny Hoffman with tears in his eyes. It's like, that's fucking beautiful, man. Yeah. And he like hugs him, thanks, brother. And it's like, yeah. And he goes, Forrest Gump. Oh no, he goes, yeah. And it's like, yeah. It's like, then after he says, fuck a lot. As Forrest said, he likes saying the F word.
Mm-hmm.
He likes saying the F word a lot, and it's like it helps with that. But yeah, that's all I have to say about that. Okay, so any ending thoughts? I know you two in the corner there just like don't like the movie as much as it is. Would you say it's like the most overrated movie you've seen? Because I'm curious about that.
I wouldn't call it like massively overrated. Like, I mean, I know it's got like, well, I know we were talking about the stuff with Shawshank Redemption and all of that stuff, but I don't know. It's a weird one, isn't it? Because it's the film that everyone seems to like, but not many people seem to talk about much anymore.
I feel like there's a general kind of confusion about what the message of it is, and I think it all kind of comes into the ending speech when he says, "Is there destiny, or do we just kind of float around?" And he says, I think it's a mixture of both." And I think you can definitely see that in the fact that Forrest doesn't have the capacity for like ambition or knowing what he wants, and he's just kind of doing what he wants to do, and that works out for him. And that's why Jenny, I think, gets a lot of confusion because she's looking for meaning, and she arguably doesn't find it until the end. But that's why she keeps getting into these radical groups, and that's why she keeps going off the rails, and that's why she keeps getting into drugs and all this sort of stuff, because it's just that constant hunt for meaning and purpose, and that's just something that Forrest doesn't have, and that's why Forrest can kind of have a fucking awesome life, and Jenny can't. And I think Jenny gets a lot of flack that I don't necessarily agree with all the time. Like, she isn't. Like, I think we've highlighted some things to go like, no, she is empirically awful. Like, the yeah, I I think I think that's my problem. I think that's my kind of problem with this. The theme isn't necessarily something that is clear, and I don't always have to be, but I feel like it kind of makes this a bit more of a confusing emotional sort of thing, rather than a solid emotional thing. But
Okay. Yeah, I can get that. Well, I mean, yeah, okay. With Jenny, her circumstances are what makes her her. Admittedly, her circumstances being quite terrible doesn't fully excuse what she does, but it helps explain it a lot. And that's, I think, for characters in the story, that's fair. That's fair enough, to be honest. You can't expect everything from everyone. So yeah, that makes sense. I feel like, because this is one of the reasons why I had trouble choosing it for Goat Round, as I was explaining before. If most people like this film, but people who don't really like it really don't like it, and it's like, I thought this one would be like a hit out of the ballpark. I guess not. I only got to like, I only got to like a few bases.
If
and
it
it's
makes me
like,
feel better, you've tied with Gladiator.
that's fair. Yeah, that's fair. Okay. I would. I mean, chose Gladiator. I didn't choose Shawshank Redemption. I feel like if I chose Shawshank, it would have got more
Hey,
points.
2 Oscar-winning films, eh?
Yeah.
You'd have got a higher mark off me, I mean.
That's quite interesting, actually. Like, if you take Street Fighter out of it, just because Street Fighter is like
Dog shit.
yeah, in a loving way from me. But yeah, like if you take Street Fighter out of it, it's interesting that the two films in Goat Round that have won Oscars for Best Picture are the two films that are at the bottom so far.
Wait, what else won Best Picture?
Gladiator.
Oh. So Gladiator, I think more
Oh yeah, one flew over the cuckoo's nest, one as well, to be fair.
Oh.
what you
Actually, that's interesting as well. The three American films we've had all won Best Picture.
And they are third, fourth, and fifth.
Well, I mean, like the other film that I was to choose was fucking Independence Day, so I don't know. Because this chat could have been way fucking different.
No, I think this has been a really good pick for Goat Round, man, because like I said earlier, it's the kind of thing that you would expect Forrest Gump to end up in. like if Forrest Gump, if we were culturally significant, Forrest Gump would be in film.
I can't start.
I don't know if that was like a stab at me or a stab at everyone. I don't know how to explain that. It's
I'm being totally sincere, man. I think this is like, but the picks where we don't all agree on like how good it is are always my favourite ones. Yeah, I think this has been an interesting one.
Fair.
Sorry, I'm not thinking right now. What was the other third American film?
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that did win quite a few awards.
Well,
don't stop that. You're gonna piss in front of John F. Kennedy.
Alec, what's your film?
Yeah, sure. I feel like if there's no more anything else we can say about this, it's like it's not the most popular film, but it does deserve the awards and credits that it does get. I think that's fine. So, your film, Mr. Pittman.
Simon's internet is testing me.
Yes. I feel like I need to buy a better laptop, to be honest.
I feel like you're flirting with me. You're going like, your film, Mr. Pittman. Well, am I talking to Pussy Galore? My film is a film that's already been referenced in Cinema Paradiso, and it's also one that's been referenced in my double as the greatest screenplay ever written. What was that? Adaptation.
Man with the Golden Gun.
Huh? Did you just say the man with the golden gun?
The man with the golden gun.
It's in reference as the greatest screenplay ever written. It's called "This the Man with the Golden." Hit me. Yeah. I don't know about that, but I guess that's sort of a good of an introduction as any. My pick is Casablanca.
Oh. Yes. It's
You seemed quite happy about that one, Pat.
I think he was hanging himself.
Yeah,
Oh.
I was.
I
Yeah.
thought you were saying yes.
My experience of it is it's a very well made film.
Which I feel like
fucking
there's
hate
been quite a few versions of Casablanca. Is there like
It's the Humphrey Bogart one, I think. The one that's considered the one that's considered a masterpiece, but you know,
sorry, what year was it out?
1940 something.
1940
A few years after
something.
Hitler topped himself.
No, it's
I know,
actually
it's during World War II.
it's actually older than Seven Samurai. Yeah.
Is that our oldest film now?
I don't know if it's our oldest film, but it's definitely mine.
I think so. It is.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah. Like,
1942.
1942. So our oldest film so far. Yeah, it becomes our oldest film by 9 years.
Get shit on, Ben.
No,
What was
the
the-
oldest film?
Oh, fuck.
What was the oldest film beforehand?
Previously, it was The Day the Earth Stood Still.
Oh, the Humphrey. There's
Oh,
Humphrey
that-
beat me.
Oh, I
That was-
hated that film.
No, The Day the Earth Stood Still was 1951.
Ha! Get
Casablanca's 1940.
fucked.
So you've won it by 9 years.
was it Earth Stood Still in color or black and white? I can't remember.
It's in black and white, mate. Sorry. It's a
Wait.
World War II era film. You're gonna
When
have
did
to
we watch
deal with
this
the
film?
old monochromos.
It's on so Apple TV, yeah.
It's probably on Apple. No, it's not on Apple TV. Even if it is, it fucking isn't. It might be on Amazon. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Wait, Simon's saying. Unless and
No,
Simon.
oh no, I was asking. Is it on Apple? Where can
It's probably on Apple TV and
Which is-
Amazon.
is it on Apple TV or something? What?
Oh, I could just tell you.
If anyone watches it on Apple
Oh yeah,
TV,
it's on Amazon. All right, yeah, I'll watch it on Amazon.
if anyone watches it on Apple TV, I'm disowning you.
I'm gonna watch on Apple TV then.
Yeah.
Oh, I
But
guess.
so yeah, Amazon, Apple, BFI player.
Oh, it's on BFI there.
Yes. YouTube, iStore, and Microsoft, Google Play, movies. It's in a lot of places.
Like, I guess one of the only older films, and this would be like a Charlie Chaplin film, I guess.
Picked a Charlie Chaplin film for this round. I nearly did City Lights.
I still haven't seen a Charlie Chaplin.
Oh, they're good, man.
But yeah, I think the closest, I think the most I've seen of a Charlie Chaplin film has been in Cinema Paradiso.
Oh, yeah. There's Modern Times in that one.
But yeah, I can see a lot of why the guy he made Cinema Paradiso. Like, I can see why he had a Casablanca poster up. Like, yeah, we can get into that next week. But
I'm
yeah.
not from what
Hmm?
I'm not surprised from what I've heard.
Have you seen it?
No, it's just been on my list for many, many years.
Excellent. Simon, have you seen it?
No.
Yeah. Ben's definitely seen it.
Yeah, me and Ben have seen it.
Then again, I haven't really watched like the old The Day That Earth Stood Still, to be honest. So I probably haven't seen. Yeah,
Maybe
it's
still is well worth watching.
Don't forget, there is that little story that's on Tumblr of like a sorry, I'm not citing Tumblr as a source of information. But yeah, there's like a little story of people in like a film studies class, and some kid just goes like, I don't like Casablanca because it's boring. And the film studies teacher said, "You've picked the wrong major," and that's really stuck with me. So yeah, if you think it's shit, you're wrong.
Oh man.
Oh no, I mean it can still. I mean,
this is where it's been blank the whole night, and then I've done it this time and just said Casablanca.
Fucking hell, Alec, you look like you put on some weight, mate.
I think I've arguably put weight on during this call. I'm thinking a whole kebab and drank like 5 pints.
At the end of the call, I want to go through Apple stuff if you're willing to stay.
I'm actually going to leave now because I've got work in the morning.
If you recommend me an Apple,
yeah.
I'll see you later, guys.
You did.
Something will happen.
What did you say, Alec?
Huh?
What did you say?
I said, if you recommend me an Apple product, I'm going to do something drastic.
I'm not recommending. I just realized Pat's name. He said, I think I'm tired. Left.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. All right, but I feel like I will probably hit the hay as well because I am tired as well, and I need to get up early as well.
Yes,
but yeah,
yeah, man.
You take care. Oh, and for the record, I saw this first, and I was like, oh wait,
oh wow,
that's kind of like Alec, but it's not really Alec. So it's like,
arguably, it's more me.
Because is it just fudge? No, he's a.
I am both alcohol and fudge.
yeah, all right. Take care now. Bye.
You fudge. I'm confused.
Well,
how are you fudge?
I'm fat, Emmanuel.
I see.
Yeah.
Wasn't clicking there.
I'm fat and full of sugar and dissolved in water. That's what.
Oh. Oh. But what?
I'll tell you when you're recording. What?
Oh yeah, still recording. Oh man.
Oh dear.
Which Apple before it kind of made me smile. You were saying they did some nonsense and somehow made a lot of money.
Yeah.
But they haven't actually.
You know how when you use an Apple mouse and you have to put it on the underneath to put
Oh,
the charger point
that's
in,
that's
and
the
it's
that's
and,
fast.
and it's because it's designed so that you have to have two mice, so you have to buy two
No,
Apple mice so you can charge one of them. Yeah.
okay, maybe 0.1% people like that mouse. That's a classic crappy Johnny Ives design over function, and it's good he's no longer with Apple. Because the amount of people who said this is dumb, and he just steamrolled them and was like, "Nah, but it looks good," and everyone's just like, "No, this makes no fucking sense."
I
And
thought the idea of that was so that when you charge it, you can't use it. And so that means that nobody would ever take a picture of the mouse with a cable coming out of it.
so dumb, because that's what literally with a cable, it would be a wired mouse.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. Apparently that's what I thought they were trying to stop, is so that nobody would use the mouse and it would have a cable coming out of it, so that people would only ever see it as a wireless mouse.
I mean, that might have been part of Johnny Ives' kind of reasoning, but it's also the whole um he wanted to have this kind of silhouette, like from all sides, all angles, which wouldn't have been possible if there was a part at the front for the port.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, and there wasn't really a chance at the time to make it wireless. I mean, they could literally, ergonomically is terrible too, but even if they wanted to make that kind of mouse, which is not really a mouse, it's more of a fancy trackpad, but like they could have, they these days they could make it wireless. I say wireless charging, but I no like no one who cares wants that mouse. It's just think you're torturing yourself by getting it. But but for a lot of things, the iPhone and multiple things they've done, usually they do a ton of research. Obviously it's mostly about America, though obviously it's successful many other places. They see what works and then decide, okay, we're gonna do this. And sometimes they have slightly newer ideas, but they don't tend to be first movers. They always tend to be behind in some kind of way and try to do it a bit better or a bit in their way because it's not always better necessarily. And they build up this walled garden to keep all their folks in. And they've built this almost cult following, especially in America, mainly in America. And they've managed to also become part of the zeitgeist and trend so that especially if you're in America, I know this is mostly American centric. It's you either have an iPhone or you have a Samsung. If you have anything else, you're in a very, very small percentage of people in America. And you're probably someone who's a bit more tech minded or more, even if you're not more tech minded, you're more a conscientious buyer who wants more control, who wants more customization. Whereas you give an iPhone to most older folks, not all older folks, but you give an iPhone to most older folks. And for most of them, they just click and go, oh, it kind of works more like how I expect it to work. There's multiple people who like they'll get like Android phones and they always have some bit and they get the iPhone, it's just like, ah, it's just yeah. It kind of simplifies a few things and it's more restrictive. Don't get me wrong, Android is so much better when it comes to customization and actually what you want to do. Like you want to customize your home screen so that you don't have so your app is further down the screen. The hoops you have to jump through now to do that on an iPhone. Whereas, wait, Rob, you don't have a Pixel or Android anymore, do you?
No, I've had an iPhone for a while, man.
Yeah, I was wondering if you went back, but like obviously with Android, you don't have to go through any of those hoops. Plus, you can do so much more. But it does mean it's kind of harder to mess things up.
Mm.
It, that whole combination of things is how they've been successful. Like it is very good business strategy.
It's the whole ecosystem thing for me, man. Because like the
Mm.
thing that I really like about them is like yeah, like, I don't want to say company because I don't like them as a company, but I do like their products. Yeah, I just like that. So you can have like your phone, like iCloud online, and like anything, and just everything that you want is just there for you. Like you don't have to really think about anything; it's just all there.
That's the thing. It's not the best necessarily in ecosystem. It's like it's very good. When I mean best, sorry, it's one of the best, and probably yeah, it's one of the best, and it's very ease of use, and most of the stuff does tend to just work. Of course, when it doesn't work, it doesn't work, and then it's just like, eh. But like if you look at Samsung, they have even more stuff. I mean, they have a fridge and TV and plugs. Like you could get if you really want to, especially in Korea, it'd be much easier than here. But you could get Samsung almost everything. Like they make
Uh,
so, but
we nearly got a Samsung fridge actually.
ah, what the one where you can see what's in your fridge?
Yeah. But I was
Ah,
like, this is ridiculous. We don't need to spend this much on a fridge.
yeah.
You get to see what's in your. Open the fucking door.
No, when you
What
want
the fuck is that?
you want to pick
What
some.
the
Have you ever been in a situation where you're at the store
Oh,
and you're like, or you're passing a store and you're like, oh, I want to eat this, I wanna do this. Wait, do I have enough eggs? Do I have this? And you can just check your phone and be like, all right, cool. I don't need to get that. I just need to get this one thing.
Or
Because
just look in your fridge.
you're not at home.
I'm not thinking about what's in my fridge if I'm not at home.
It's because you don't have that situation. You're not just
Nobody has that situation.
a lot of people have that situation.
No, they don't.
Okay, I'll quote one person, Linus Tech Tips. Like, and this happens a lot of times with different families. They're in Canada. But the amount of people who will go, oh yeah, while I'm passing, let me buy this and buy this. And then they get home, they already have like 2 packs. And it's just like, oh, why did I buy another one? It's those kind of situations. Or a situation I'm in a lot. We've forgotten to meal plan, but we need to eat, obviously. Okay, what are we gonna make? But wait, what do we even have in our fridge? I can't remember. Obviously, there's ways around this. You have different apps and all sorts of stuff. So it's not like it's the only thing. But I could just look in my fridge from outside and be like, oh, we got this, that vegetable, this. And then I could just buy it and not buy duplicates. It's helpful.
Or you could just look in your fridge and count what you have and then you go shopping.
But I'm not at home. My home is an hour away from work.
It's not an
Um,
hour away from the shop, though.
it is about if I took public transport, it's around about 30 to 40 minutes away from a shop. We're
You
quite
need to
far,
move.
you don't say. We're quite far away. Like that's partly why I still have my scooter as well, because it changed this to about 8 minutes. But by the time I've gone out, come back to the store, I'm then cooking so late, which ain't good. And Camilla's like ravenous hungry. And that's not great.
I have two questions. What happens when you make something that's not on the app? What happens when I'm refrigerating
a fried egg sandwich with chili sauce and chutney. What does it tell me?
Wait, what?
When I make a fried egg sandwich with chili sauce and chutney for the morning and I put it in the fridge, what does it tell me? Does it tell me I have a sandwich? Or does it tell me I've got a fried egg sandwich with chili sauce and chutney? Or does it tell me I've got a fried egg sandwich with chili sauce and a mystery ingredient? Or does it tell me that I've got a mystery sandwich?
But the point is, you can look in. You don't need it to tell you. You can.
No, you said I do.
No, I said you can see inside your fridge. The
Yeah,
same
when I
thing.
look at it. My second question: how does it account for murderers? What if you have a decapitated head in your fridge? What does it say? Does it go? You have ×1 decapitated head. You don't need to do another. It's fine. You have all the thumbs you need.
He's got. What's Patrick Bateman gonna do if you get him that kind of fridge? We need.
If Patrick Bateman had a Samsung fridge, what would it say?
It doesn't literally tell you. You can see.
What's the fucking point? What is the point of this? This is shit.
Because Bixby, but anyway, Bixby is worse than Siri.
That's a different argument.
Siri is better these days. The Bixby speaker still hasn't come out. That's another thing.
You're diverting from the issue.
Huh?
You're diverting from the issue. Both issues. I gave you two.
Sorry,
As we move on, it's cool.
So you don't have an answer. Absolutely.
But yeah, it is a very much.
What happens when you're freezing sperm and you put it in your fridge to refrigerate before you take it to the doctors? What does it say? Does Samsung have an app that tells you if it's a boy or a girl?
It tell you anything. It's the camera you can see in your fridge.
Does it like have a voice thing where it goes like you've got anusol in your fridge? Does it like announce it? This seems like a shit idea.
I mean, yours does, yes.
You're just telling me that the Samsung tells you what's in your fridge, and I know what's in my fridge because I look in my fridge every now and then. I don't need an app it's like having an app that tells me what the weather is. I can look outside. I don't need a phone to look outside. In the same way, I don't need to know. Well, I just want to know what Samsung's going to tell me. Because if Samsung's going to go, hey, there's anusol in your fridge, is it going to announce that to people? Or is it going to go like, actually, I'll put that on the down low. You have anusol on the top shelf, and you have a fried egg sandwich with chili sauce and chutney on the second shelf, and you have 10 toes decapitated, just taken off of someone, that's on the third shelf, and in the bottom shelf you have vegetables. Like,
okay then.
You're not telling me anything about this app.
Oh man.
I know it's frustrating. What's going on with this app?
It's an interesting one. Like you said, Rob, I don't necessarily like them as a company, but they do make some good products.
They apparently don't.
Also, I don't the thing like against gaming is like against like against PC gaming.
Oh, Apple is this?
Like they finally released a kind of transition layer. Like they just took open source from Linux and it was just like, oh, you can game on Mac now. And it's just like,
why would you want to?
If you want to or want to struggle, like, do you know what it's like gaming on Linux? I mean, some things work, not everything. and now you're translating it through this Linux thing through to Mac. I mean, and then someone was just like, "Oh yeah, game developers could do this, a taste of what it's like, and maybe this will encourage them to make a game on the Mac." It's like, no, they won't. If they wanted to, they would.
I bet the thing with that though is that Apple probably don't want gamers to use Macs because gamers are the kind of people who will like put their own like peripheral accessories on and they'll like customize things for how they want it. And they'll criticize the things that Apple want them to do, and like it's just like, but from their point of view, because they want control over like how people use their products, it's just a problematic target audience.
I'm not
Probably.
sure it makes want people to use the Samsung. It's not like they make it easy for people.
It is. It is a. It's one of those strange things. It is. Yeah, like you said, it can be a problematic and toxic, kind of like even like YouTubers. Like it's always the things like if someone's going to get into gaming, it's just like, okay, well, just be warned. You might come across some people like a lot, and at the same time, if they really wanted to, and I know they've considered at certain points, but they focus mainly on just games that work well on obviously the phone and tablets. But it's like, yes, you could play real racing, I guess, on the Mac. Yeah. And but at the same time, the Mac has some decently powerful software. Don't get me wrong. You can get much powerful kind of um Windows kind of working graphics cards and stuff that are much more powerful even than the most powerful M2 Ultra chip these days. No matter what Apple tries to say and lie about with fake graphs. Like, what are you comparing this to? A graphics card from how many years ago with crap perform? Man, please. But anyway, uh, unlike PC, they have one of the benefits is that they have so few SKUs of products. It's actually much easier to design any kind of game or kind of software for their stuff compared to PC. And it's just like the same reasons why most apps, the kind of camera or stealthy camera like inside the app tends to be better on an iPhone than on quite a lot of Android phones. It's changing now, of course. But because there's so many Android phones, there's so much to design for.
Thank fuck.
But that's a whole nother rabbit hole. But I hope I educated you today, Alec.
Nope. I remain uneducated.
You created a new nemesis in a fridge of all things.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, this week has been a week of fridge nemesis for me. But there you go.
I've now got a new nemesis against Samsung, if anything.
Mm. And man, just to catch you up with what's going on here, we got our new fridge. It arrived with 2 tiny chips on the door, and Rachel's stance was, I worked too hard to have a fridge that arrived chips. And now we're beefing with Currys to get a new fridge.
Oh.
Would that be love?
Oh yeah, nobody watches it.
That's horrible. Right, so.
Anyway, you haven't turned me for Apple, but you have turned me against Samsung.
I mean, I have to say, if you don't like Apple, Samsung is so much worse. Just look at how they treat people who actually work for them. You'll have a great time. Like Apple seem like kind souls compared to kinder souls compared to some of the stuff Samsung's done. Oh man. No, seriously. I think you'd be interested on it. Like watch some videos on YouTube, or maybe I should send you some. Like they are really bad, and they can take so much advantage because of their position in Korea. It is ridiculous. It's nah. Anyway, take care.
See you in a bit, man. Oh
Bye.
wow, that was